United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Okay. So, everybody knows the meeting is being recorded via Zoom, via WCAT 12, which is our local access network, and it is being live streamed on Facebook also. If anybody else is recording, please just let us know. Okay. All right. First thing on the agenda is a dog hearing for 841 Brimfield Road, Lot 15. Okay. So, the meeting was requested by the ACO. Okay. And so everybody is aware, the animal control officer, the ACO, is my wife. I just wanted to disclose that because there is no voting on any financial matter or anything like that, or monies that are benefiting our family. There's no need for me to recuse myself unless you guys see fit that I need to.
Nope, I'm fine. We will let you know if it's appropriate.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So we have our reports in front of us here, and from the Warren Police Department. Okay. So we'll hear from the ACO first, then the officers, and then do we actually have the dog owner?
No, but we have the impacted neighbor.
We don't have the dog owner?
I don't think so.
What's
No.
the dog owner's name?
Her name's Tracy O'Neill.
I don't see how the hearing could proceed without the owner.
We can't?
Well,
I
if
don't
they
think-
don't show, they don't show.
Yeah, I don't
Were
think
they
that's.
properly notified? Or?
I don't think that's true because I was asking some other animal control officers their experiences on certain situations, and I don't believe in certain circumstances the owners always show.
If they were
Yeah,
notified.
but they have to be properly notified. And if we can't prove that the dog's owner has been notified, do we have any proof?
I don't have any proof, but I did talk to the postmaster, and they did put it in her box. It's a P.O.
But there's
box.
nothing saying she checked her mailbox,
No.
no certified mail, nothing
They did not
handed.
certify it.
Kind of in a bad situation.
Well, you could certainly have, start the hearing and then continue it, and then, try to contact the owner for the next meeting. You can gather the testimony from the ACO, the police, and the neighbor, and you can continue it under advisement, and then try to send a certified letter to the owner, on the next meeting.
Yeah, let's do that, because we have people here that are ready to go.
Agree.
Okay. So we'll continue, we'll continue with the meeting here, hear from some of the parties, but then we're gonna have to continue it to ensure that the owner is notified, properly notified. We just gotta make sure that happens in the future. Okay, all right. Can you just stand up, identify yourself in your position with the town?
Do we need to swear in?
Yes, because we're taking testimonial.
Yeah.
Do we have that?
No,
Do we have the swearing in?
You could,
no, I forgot.
Okay,
What word? Do you have it handy?
I don't think so. I can try to find it
Where's
real
it
quick.
you
Sorry.
are correct, yes, we do have swearing, so. We should probably have this one in our binders for a page, so whenever we know.
Is it that one?
Will do.
No. For a witness.
Is it, do you swear, affirm that the testimony
Yes.
you are about to give in this arbitration is the truth and whole truth
This
and
matter, yeah.
nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, we'll do everybody at once. So everybody stand up that's gonna be giving testimony. Raise your right hand, just in case.
You can
Read it out.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is the arbitration, is the truth, the whole truth, and the nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, whenever we call upon you, in a public meeting, because we are recording and it is going out via Zoom, we need you to identify who you are by name and your position with the town, if you're an employee, what your position is, or if you're a resident of the town, okay? Okay. You see him?
Tamara Cammy Dufresne. This has been an ongoing situation for well before I even started. For the past few years, the dog in question is a large German Shepherd with a very powerful bark, and because this is a mobile home park and the homes are all very close to each other, the neighbors are greatly impacted by the constant barking. And I have no contact with the owner. I've never spoken to the owner. I've never met the owner. I have left a warning in the past and notices to just try to open up communication. I've never heard anything. So based on the ongoing concerns of the neighbor, I felt like it was, and also some concerns that came up with the police department, who has been there multiple times as well. I thought it was appropriate to have a nuisance dog hearing about this dog. So I'm gonna, pass it over to the other witnesses so they can kind of describe what they've been seeing, and then at the end, I do have some thoughts and suggestions from speaking to other animal control officers about how this could possibly be rectified. But I think they're the ones who have been dealing with this more often than I, so I'm just gonna give it over to them.
Do you have any questions for the ACO?
No, I don't.
Do you have any questions for the ACO?
No, sir.
All right. And then,
Do you want to hear from me or the
I
neighbor?
wanna hear from you.
All right. Officer Merkel, Brad Merkel with the Warren Police Department, been here for approximately 4 or 5 months. You can jump in, ma'am. So involving this complaint, I'm just gonna add a little bit in from the ACO. We pulled a little brief synopsis of how many times we've been out there over the past several years. So the reports that we have from the next door neighbor, which would be a Stacy Reardon, we had over 20 calls for service to this residence, which resulted as of 2 offense reports. Just a little synopsis of what those transpired of is German Shepherd dog's been barking for over 2 hours, German Shepherd dog barking numerous times, contact referred to ACO. There's also times where This person has been advised that they are getting a written nuisance complaint. I believe one of those was issued by our chief. And there's just continually barking dog complaints. When we ended up pulling a review of Miss O'Neill, who would be the property owner over at lot 15. Since 2020, we've been there 9 calls. I drafted an arrest report, which I ended up withdrawing after speaking to the ACO and seeing that there was a dog door at the residence. But she's been issued 1 citation warning for canine public nuisance. And we've also drafted several offense reports. So we've been there a significant amount of time. We put a lot of work hours into going out there. It takes a cruiser, several man and female officers to go out there and handle these calls. The last time I was out there personally, that was when I did the offense report. The weather was in the low teens. Dog was barking all in the morning. I was not able to see that if there was any food or the doggy door at that time. I did a little history check. Left a message with Miss O'Neill, so I still have yet to be able to talk to her as well. But I left her a message saying, hey, you need to get your dog inside. It's freezing outside. It's been barking for over 2 hours, which was the alleged complaint. And if she didn't, I was going to be charging her for neglect of an animal. It's a 3rd-degree felony in the state of Massachusetts, which would then be the forfeit of the dog that goes to the MSPCA for the state. Basically, that's been since removed, but you can technically charge that state if you have a weather emergency, significant frost warning, cold warning, something of that sort, which wasn't at the time, but it seems like this is the reoccurring issue in the cold winter months, is the dog's outside barking, doesn't go inside, but she's not home. So we've been unable to contact her, ACO has been unable to contact her, so maybe there's something that we can rectify here and move forward to find more proper ownership or something for the animal so it can be properly cared for.
Do you have anything else?
That's it, sir.
Do you have any questions for him?
No, I don't.
Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Chief?
Chief Millette, Warren PD. I just wanted to, how many times have we been there? 29 times?
So it'd be 29 times
29
completely.
times, so, wow.
Since when?
Over how many years?
Since 2021?
Since 2022 to
2019?
2019.
It's on the back page.
Yep.
And it is, you can testify to that, I think you have told me that it's mostly when she's not around.
It's always when
she
she's
has-
not
Chief,
there,
talk to
yeah.
us.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
I believe one of the times I spoke with the complainant, it was basically anytime she's not there. The dog does have just goes outside and just barks.
When you
Yes,
say
sir.
the dog goes outside,
Yeah.
means that he can go in and out?
Yeah, it has a doggy door.
There's a couple videos. Do you have the videos?
The doggy door is unlocked,
I would say so, yeah.
so in use, you know
So
what I
we
mean?
can go in and out, yeah.
Okay.
But we can't verify that right now.
No, maybe a question for the
Nope.
next door neighbor after.
If I may, so when I approached the fence, the dog was aggressive. It did come up to the fence, and I had to step back and almost pull up my spray because I didn't know if it was going to jump the fence. I did walk around the trailer several times, shine my flashlight, and gave several pounds, which if a dog is going through a door, has the access to, it would potentially go inside the residence when I'm on the other side of said residence to maybe guard the home.
Mhm.
And nothing came through no dog came through the door, nothing came to a window or anything of that sort. So I don't know if it's actually operable, if that makes any
I
sense.
know
Yeah,
when
I'm
we've
just
always
saying,
been there,
we-
it's always
But
been
we
can't
can't check
show
without
that-
harming the dog or, not, you
Yeah.
know, I don't wanna hurt the dog or anything like that to check.
or harm someone of us
Yes,
going in there.
exactly.
You have the videos?
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second before you play the video. Okay, do you have anything else to add, Chief?
Not this time, maybe some questions for the complainant when you guys, the doggy door issue, maybe she has more info on that, cause like I said, when we're always there, we're outside there, so the dog's out there barking. I don't know if it does actually go inside when we leave or, when there's no one around.
Do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
Chief? Do you have
No,
any
sir.
further questions? Okay. Ma'am? Can you
Hi,
identify yourself?
I'm Stacy Reardon. I live at 841 Brimfield Road, lot 14, so I'm resident of Warren. I live directly next to this dog and live next to them, and I stay at home every day with my children, so I basically witness what goes on. The doggy door does option. It does work, so that is an option for her. She does go inside, but she does stay outside for several hours barking. So she can go inside, but does she want to? No, I think she's screaming for help. And if you ask me, I've been there since 2019, August of 2019. And since then, this dog has been alone for 17 hours a day. 17 hours a day, barking, for probably about 12 of it, at the most. So I do have lots of videos, many videos. The police had asked me to record anything I could, and I did. I tried to ask her when I first moved there. It was just my daughter and I knocked on her door and asked if she needed someone to walk her dog or take care of the dog during the day, because I am available to do so. She told me, in her words, that would defeat the purpose of her having the animal. Therefore, there's a threat, and I'm not sure what it is, but it wasn't me. And I was willing to help the animal, and now I just watch the poor dog suffer every day. And it breaks my heart. It does. And they've seen it too. So,
Okay, what do you mean by the dog suffer?
by barking for attention every day, wanting something more than what it has.
Okay.
I mean, if I was standing there screaming all day long and yelling, that's a beg
But you
for
don't
help.
mean the dog's in pain or anything, it's not
I
being
wouldn't go as far as it's being
injured.
just neglected. Neglected.
Okay.
That's a good word for it.
Hey, do you have any questions?
No.
Do you have any questions?
Nope.
That's, okay. So we're gonna
Thank
play
you.
your 3 videos.
Yeah, sure. And if you have any more,
Yep,
if you
we
need
just-
any more, I have plenty.
We're just gathering information right now.
Thank you.
And then we'll follow up. Okay. Move on.
I can't even open, I can't have them open because of this animal.
The remote, can you play it again?
Yeah.
You need the TV remote.
Volume up on, oh, there we go. This is gonna be, oh, it's,
Since 5:30 this morning. She can't see me. She can't. I can't even open.
I can't have them open because of this animal.
alright, that's one.
See, at its best. My neighbor leaves at 5 in the morning and leaves her poor animal to bark all day long. All day long. 3.5 years of my almost 2-year-old can't even enjoy this bed. She has to sleep in my bed with me because this fan doesn't do justice to cancel out the sound of my neighbor's dog that is neglected. This does not do justice. You still hear it on the other side of this window.
The last one is actually taken from the inside of your house.
On in my daughter's bedroom, my almost 2-year-old.
I think all they are inside.
yeah.
And I have videos that are taken from outside because I bought a camera for this situation that I could keep going all day long.
Okay. And there was a dog door that was there next to him. You've seen that on the side of the, opposite of the other door, to the right of it, so.
Is it? Let's see.
Yep.
See, at its best.
Right here.
My neighbor leaves at 5 in the morning and leaves.
Okay.
So that's the screen door swung around.
Oh,
So
I
the
see.
dog
Yeah,
can get in and out
the door's open.
if it chose to,
Yeah,
so. And what you're saying, the dog does
She
use the
doesn't
door.
choose to. Not until about 2:30 in the afternoon, when it's clearly winded, and who knows if it still has water after barking for however long. I don't know the situation, but I wouldn't do that to my dog.
Okay.
Can I speak then?
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. Just tell me about the two houses. How are they situated?
So as you see the fence pickets at the top there, I wasn't able to get oil in my home. I couldn't have it filled for about a week. Because before that fence was put up, which I have images of much small, probably about yay big, 4 feet, that dog would get up and over and try to attack the oil man, which I should have had him come. But he's probably got a family to feed and stuff, so I don't want to bother anybody else with this situation, but he was unable to give me oil in 2019. And I had her put up that fence, that 6-foot fence, so I could get oil put in my home to heat my house.
Okay. So the dog owners put that fence up?
I requested it.
Okay.
And I got in touch with the president of the trailer park to ask her to, because she wasn't friendly with me.
So have you talked to the trailer park about this?
Yep. They know about this.
And what did they say?
They said that they would go through with eviction if nothing comes about.
Okay, what do you mean nothing comes about?
I don't know, that was her words.
So if nothing's resolved, I guess, with
Yeah.
the dog.
it's
And when was that?
Probably about 6 months ago. My baby was about a year, so.
Okay.
And are you the only neighbor?
No. There
Okay.
are many other neighbors that hear this too.
Okay. Have any of them complained?
Bernie too. Yep, he's spoken to a few of the officers as well.
Okay.
And Neil was there the last time too. I don't know Neil's last name. I think it's Faye. I think, but I'm not too familiar with a lot of my neighbors.
Okay.
Okay. You have a question, Tam?
Do I need to reintroduce myself again?
No,
No.
you already did.
So, I mean, she's here because she's the person that I have spoken to, so I have her contact information. I don't have the contact information for any of the other neighbors. The neighbor on the other side I don't know his name, but did verbalize to me, because I actually also went out one of the days and I was knocking on the window to the other side of the trailer to see if the dog would go through the dog door, and the dog never went through, which I thought was very strange as well. And I have no contact with this owner. Normally when there's these types of complaints, the first thing I want to do is get in contact with that dog owner, make sure that they know there's a problem and are working on trying to find the peace within the neighborhood. I've never had any contact with this owner, and it's concerning that not even the police department has had any contact with them. I am concerned about the fact that it's being reported this dog is left alone for that large amount of periods of time. I can't verify if the dog has access to, food and water. I don't see any, medical concerns that are obvious from looking at the dog. So I'm assuming overall the dog's receiving care, but I can't confirm anything. I have no idea what this dog is, having access to, and there's no reason for the dog to be left outside all of this time when the owner is aware, that there are issues. The police have been out there numerous times. If the fence was built, then the owner is aware that there are some issues. If she can't properly care for the dog, provide it, you have to be able to provide your dog with like mental stimulation in addition to, okay, the dog can physically, German Shepherd is a very smart breed, and I don't know why the dog is barking nonstop. It could benefit from being walked. It could benefit from, socialization with people. It seems like this dog is completely alone. And, there's doggy daycare. There's people who can walk it. There's maybe someone, if she knew of if she has to work long hours, if she knew of a family member or friend who could dog sit for her. These are things I would love to be able to talk to with the owner, so that we wouldn't even have to do this. We wouldn't even have to be here doing a nuisance dog hearing. But it doesn't seem like there's any kind of participation from the owner. And so because of that, we're at a standstill here where we can't proceed with anything. We can't work on a resolution until we talk to the dog owner.
Have you tried to go, I don't know, presumably she comes home from work at some point, right?
So from speaking with the neighbor, her schedule is something along the lines of, and she can correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is it's something along the lines of like 5 in the morning to 8 p.m. at night. And I'm not sure if that's even a guarantee. Every time I've been to this residence, the dog has never been inside. There's a dog door there. I've never seen that dog use that dog door. Every single time I'm there, the dog is outside barking. So I've never come in contact with an owner. I've been there, different days, different times. I've never come in contact with the owner. So I think she's gone most of the day. And again, you can clarify with.
So do you know the owner?
Yeah, I've spoken to her a few times. Like I said, I tried to offer to help take care of the dog when I first moved there, but she was not friendly at all.
Do you have a phone number for the owner?
I don't have a phone number for her.
Right.
Does the owner walk the dog? Even on a weekend, or, no?
She doesn't take her on Christmas. I gave, those doggy stocking treats? I got her one of those. I used to cook this animal food. And, I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional, but she was alone on Christmas. She's alone all the time. It breaks my heart. I have a dog too, so I wouldn't do that to my dog. I wouldn't, and I couldn't, and I feel terrible for this animal. That's all.
Officer Merkel, do you have a phone number for the party in question?
Yes, sir, we have an in-house number that we have, I don't know if this is, I tried several different numbers at the time, but I mean, if
And
this
you
is the
weren't
number
able to
that
get a hold of him?
left a voicemail and have not
Was
heard
it a
back
generic
since.
mailbox?
Yeah, generic mailbox, thank you for calling this number and leave a voicemail.
Yeah. So you can't even say it's them.
Correct. Without having them call back and speak to us.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
I don't think so.
Me neither.
Well, actually, maybe I do. I'm curious, does the trailer park, it's Heritage, right?
No, this is, I believe it was called Evergreen
It's
It's
prior.
Evergreen Community Association. I pulled them up on the assessor's map.
Okay.
They don't have it's just a generic address, is 841 Brimfield Road.
Correct.
And then they're split up as lot numbers, which are sub-addresses.
Yeah.
So we don't have for her, information, because you guys rent those trailers, right?
Well, I own my
You
trailer.
own yours?
But we do rent the property that we live on, so technically I guess we do. I do have renter's insurance and homeowner's insurance, so
Okay.
it's hard to say.
Because
But
as far as a property asset, we don't have anything in the assessor's map other than it's a lot and it's, I don't know,
So does Evergreen?
9.0 acres.
Okay. Does Evergreen have bylaws or policies regarding dogs?
Yep, so I can get you all that information. I have it in my lease and everything, so I mean, I'm not trying to get her dog completely, I don't want the dog to get hurt. That's what I'm trying to say, is I don't want the dog to go to some shelter and get, worse off than what it is now. That's not what I want, but there are policies against, what she's doing, if that's what you're asking.
And you've complained to management?
I have, yes.
So I'm just wondering why nothing was done,
Well, that's, next meeting, we can make sure they're here and explain why they're not enforcing their policies or what they have on policy.
Yeah.
Because really it's kind of their complaint, but yes, it is I would say it's a nuisance dog.
Yeah. It seems like they can.
We're
handle
hearing
it.
a lot because there's a lot of unnecessary barking, and I know after a while, by owning big dogs, if my big dog sat there for 12 hours barking in my ear, I'd be very irritated after a while. So I feel for you, I honestly do. that would drive me insane too.
Before I had my small child, it wasn't that big of a deal, but now that I do have a small child, I'd like to get my schedule back on track.
And believe me, we have twin toddlers, and
Yeah.
we went through that, and I know how important it is at
Yeah.
those young ages to get as much sleep as you can.
For sure.
I mean, part of the problem is the owner isn't there, the dog's
Well,
barking,
that's-
so the
that's what I'm
owner is
thinking.
irritated.
Yes.
Well, we
Right?
we could issue an order or a demand to appear
Mhm.
and have the police department serve it,
Okay,
right,
Jim?
Mr. Farrar?
So, under chapter 140, section 115, section 157 of MGL, Mass General Law, this would be considered a nuisance or dangerous dog hearing. So you have three options. You can dismiss the complaint, you can deem the dog a nuisance, or you could deem the dog a dangerous dog. If you deem the dog a nuisance, if the hearing authority deems the dog a nuisance, the hearing authority may further order that the owner or the keeper of the dog take remedial action to annihilate the cause of the nuisance behavior. So that's your scope that you can do.
But we don't have the owner here.
Right, so you can ask, you can send out another request, continue the hearing and invite her to
So
another.
basically what I was saying is, we can issue an order to have the police department serve her with a notice to appear.
To appear to a hearing, yeah.
Yes.
If she fails to appear?
If she fails to appear, she was notified.
Okay. And
Because then they go up to her, they say, ma'am, I'm serving you with this notice,
Oh, okay, this is better than
you need to,
certified.
you need to appear at this hearing, it's gonna be held at this day, at this time, and this is what the complaint's about. And if she chooses, something, I want nothing to do with it, we proceed on, but she was notified. Because I don't want to turn around and say, we set a demand on her, we say that, okay, we voted that there's a nuisance dog here, and we're setting parameters for her to mitigate that, when we don't even know the situation, she hasn't been able to, we don't even know if she's been notified to be here.
Right.
So she might not even be aware this is happening right now. And she's afforded due process, and right now, we don't even know if she was informed of the process. So it's kind of unfair to set a judgment when she's not even, we don't even know she was aware of it right now.
Right.
But if we do have a police officer go out there and say, hey, you have to appear at this hearing, based on your dog, and then we could also have, the, mobile home with the, I guess their board, they would have a board,
Yep,
and they would probably have a chairperson or whoever,
yeah,
and request them to be at the hearing, because this is going on in their facility, and they should be doing something about this.
yeah,
It's the interest of them to keep the peace of their residents and kinda, I don't wanna say police themselves, but if their people are doing something that's disrupting other residents that are supposed to be there, they should be
yeah,
handling it.
it's part of their job
It's-
function.
Yeah. So, we should have them there, here also. So, yeah,
So do we all need to be here again, we're saying next week?
it's not gonna be next week, but it'd be the following week,
26.
Yeah, 26.
the 26th. So,
Well, I think we have people's testimonies, so I guess next meeting would be
Again.
optional, or?
again, she would have, the owner of the dog would have to be here,
Yeah,
and she may request, or wanna rebut something that somebody was saying, and we might have to follow up with questions. So I would say everybody would have to be here again.
It's better to be here.
It's better to be here than not to be here.
I can
Yes, ma'am.
send more videos if you'd like, so that way we can have more evidence of,
That's,
if that's
Fine.
possible, I can ask
Yeah.
how that's
Yeah.
doable.
and I know everybody showed up here, and I thank you very much, and, you know, I appreciate that, but we do have to afford due process to the owner too.
But I had requested this on 12/22, just saying,
I know. So, we'll make sure the owner is notified, along with the mobile home facility. And, you know, I don't know if any abutters would wanna be coming. You know, we could notify the abutters too, if they choose to see fit, that a hearing is gonna be held. There's no requirement for it, but if somebody else wants to come, because somebody else might have an issue, I'm sure she's not the only one complaining, right?
Correct.
It's a loud dog. Yeah, noise travels. But we don't have an abutters list. That would have to go to the park. You know, I'd probably let them know, hey, if you can notify your residents that this hearing is gonna be held. You know, but if we notify the park. So, but, do you have any other questions?
I would just say, if you're gonna send more videos, maybe like 3 more, pick like ones that you think are representative. Like,
Yeah.
don't send us you know.
Right,
100
of
videos.
course, I think,
Cause we get, you know.
if someone can guide her, I don't know how to send or receive videos that are, of any, like, length. So she sent me
Oh.
videos that were just quick,
that
so
was
that I
the
could
problem.
submit them,
Do you have an
so.
email?
Do I? Yes, yes.
Would you send Mr. Ferrara an email
Yeah.
from you?
Yeah.
And then he's gonna send you a link, and when you get the link, it says click here to upload, and that's it.
Okay, yeah, sounds
Do a
good. Do
share
you wanna
box.
write down your email for me?
Yeah, sure. I'll give you my
I have a different email on my computer, that's all.
Are they on your phone or on the computer?
I do have the videos on my phone, yeah, but I use an email, a separate email on my computer.
But if you open your email on your phone
Mhm.
and you click that button, it will allow you to upload it directly from your phone.
Interesting, okay.
So just wait for it. I'm gonna give Jim the link so he could send it to you, and then you just click on it and it will be
Okay.
just very easy to do.
Alright.
So Chief, if we give you that letter, can you have one of you guys serve it? Seems like the resident's probably home later at night
Or early.
or early,
Somebody who's on the overnight shift.
probably multiple visits.
Yeah, to get it to
But I would say hand served. And just annotate that it was served in hand on such and such time.
Yeah.
To
Log in the
so-and-so.
log, I can give you a copy of the log entry when they serve it.
Okay. And then, if we could also, well, phone number was useless anyway, so.
I can give you the phone number just in case you wanna try it.
Yeah, but if you called it and you're not getting a return call, you know,
Yeah, some people don't like the police.
no.
Say,
Not true.
get out of here.
All right. Do you have anything to follow up with, Tim? No? Okay. Gentlemen? Ma'am?
Well, thank you.
No? So the next meeting is gonna be on, January 21st? 26th, January 26th, and hopefully we have the owner of the dog here. I apologize we couldn't do more tonight. I truly apologize for the inconvenience and thank you for showing up. Hopefully the owner will be here for that, and if not, we'll be able to continue forward because
We've done our
we
due
know,
diligence.
we've done our due diligence. Just don't want it to go to court and say, well, the owner just didn't even know. So we wanna make sure that we do the whole process. Okay.
So, I'll make a motion to continue.
Yeah, do you have any questions before we stop?
No questions.
Okay, no question?
Mm,
Yep.
Okay.
We'll do a motion to continue.
Make a motion to continue the dog hearing for 841 Brimfield Road, Lot 15, to January 26th at 6 PM.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Second,
Sorry.
Rich Ihacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion, motion passes and the dog hearing has been continued. Okay, and we will see everybody on the 26th.
Mhm.
Just make sure it definitely gets
It would-
posted.
It will be done.
If you can draft a letter,
Sure.
um,
Oh, and you should get the.
Strong
swearing
words,
statement.
demand,
Maybe you can swear at
maybe.
other people.
we demand your
I already
presence
have
to
that
be
on
here,
the list to put it in the
Um,
binder.
Yeah.
then get it to Jerry.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so the number 2 on the agenda, we gotta pass over for tonight.
So motion to table agenda item number 2
Yep.
To the 26th.
to the 26th.
Do we need a second?
Second it?
Second.
All in favor?
Rich Ihacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. We're gonna table it to the 26th. And that's the memorandum of understanding between Porter Road Pet Care in East Long Meadow and the town of Warren. Okay, and item 3, acceptance of Karen Wilkes' hours for senior tax work-off abatement
For 2020.
for
Says
2022.
2023.
2022, last year. She did all the work in 2022. So it'd be the taxes for 2022.
So why is there this one time card thing?
Oh, because I didn't copy all of them. I copied David all of them because he added them
okay.
up last time. So I didn't give you a copy. You want all of them?
No, I was just curious why there was.
You wanna
just
add
this-
them up as they go?
No, I'll take
Well-
your word for it.
There's a
Or you-
tape on the front of it.
Yeah, there's-
Okay, you did it? So 62.5? Carrie did it?
Mhm.
So 44444.
16, that's 20, 20.5.
Did you want to review it?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Did you want to review it?
I'm good.
Okay. Okay, so the hours are all counted for. Did you add something, Mr. Brown?
Nope, so this will be considered on the previous program before was modified, so the credit will be $500.
Correct. Okay. Yeah, because we modified it for 2023.
Mhm.
You good? Motion?
Yep, okay. I'll make a motion to accept the 62.5 hours worked in 2022 for Karen Wilk with the senior tax work-off abatement.
62.5. Second.
Oh, sorry,
Okay.
what did I say, 62?
Yeah, but
Okay,
50,
I'll give her the half.
half hour. Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Rich Ihacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Okay. Next thing on the agenda is the emergency management report in summary. Okay. Yeah, you want to take that one, too?
Oh, sure. Thanks, Joe. There we go.
Okay. What do you got for us tonight, Jim?
Alright, so I got 2 little parts. I'll do it by
Could you just make sure you identify yourself and your position, please?
Jim McCann, the emergency manager and director. got two parts. I got my monthly reports. I'll go at that at the end. But we had a larger event right before Christmas. They named it Winter Storm Elliott. All the larger events get a name. This really wasn't a winter storm for us, it was more of kind of a fall nor'easter. Brought us a lot of heavy winds and rain. The worst of the storm for this area was between 4 a.m. and noon time, where we got winds of 30 to 50 miles an hour. Several roads were closed for a time, and power outages after 9 a.m. And that lasted through most of the day until 11 o'clock at night. Though the power companies couldn't give us a good ETA when the power was going to be back on. So it was decided as a shelter would be started. Now we got everything together fairly quickly. The school helped out opening up their cafeteria. The food service director had a few people. We made some refreshments and snacks, coffee, water, everything. A couple CERT members, firemen helped with setting up cots. Chiefs did a big part. Then we had police officers too, doing security most of the time, and at least there was one CERT member there most of the time.
So we're gonna do an after-action report on this, correct?
Yeah.
We're gonna have a joint meeting between the towns.
Yep.
Do we have that scheduled for the 26th, or
26, we can do.
when did we
That's
have?
what we were.
We're waiting for
trying
West Brookfield? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, there's a member from West Brookfield here tonight too.
Yeah.
Wants to share anything.
Well, because I'd like to have everybody here, because we have, we have Principal Duff that was part of it, the chief. It'd be nice to have the selectmen from West Brookfield as a part of it, so we could all sit here and talk specifically about that, what was good and what was bad as far as, what happened that night. That's the purpose of an after-action report, is to see how we can improve and do better next time. Whether it's through communication or services, or if we needed to activate it sooner, or things we could have done differently throughout it, or things that may have gone wrong during it. We were all basically trying to pull it together, and once we made the notifications, it got up fairly quickly, and that's great. And a lot of departments worked really hard, and CERT team, you guys did great. It happened probably the worst time of the year it could happen, because it happened right over Christmas, and we were having a storm, and everybody was away for the weekend, and just multiple things. And I know there was some transition in West Brookfield between responsibilities. But this is all stuff we can talk about and get into detail on how we can improve and how we can work better, and who needs to contact who in the future. So if we're gonna stand up a shelter, is it a regional shelter? Is that what the plan is, or is it for Warren residents or West Brookfield, or are we just gonna come into it together and just stand up a regional shelter for everybody, and we all share responsibilities, and how those shared responsibilities are handled? So that's a lot of detail, and that's a meeting in itself, okay? And if we can make that happen, Are you guys good with that?
If I might, if you don't mind me making a recommendation.
Sure, Chief.
I'm not certain that the meeting on the 26th will be a good time to do an after-action review. This is almost like gonna be like a tabletop setting, because there is so much that needs to get talked about, and with the prior event that you gotta discuss in regard to the dog, that's gonna take up a good part of your night. So we may wanna schedule this where it's actually not a meeting, but more like a tabletop type of situation.
Yeah, we can do
And
that.
then we could talk across the table and maybe not be so formal about it,
Yeah.
my opinion.
I think we also have don't we have District 7 that night?
We do.
As well, so.
Okay.
Yeah, the
myself.
chief and I have one,
Yeah, whenever we can do it, we can come up with a day to do it. You know, it should be sooner than later. But prior engagements kind of force us, so the soonest we could do it would be the 26th, but we could do it after that. If we're looking at Thursdays, because that's typically when we all can be together and dedicate the time. Fridays, there's other things going on, and I would like to have Highway Department in here too, because again, Jeremy Olson and his guys took a big part of it because they were out there working and doing a lot. You guys were doing a lot. You know, there's a lot of moving parts. So, and it'd be nice to hear from you guys too, and you know, see what you guys think that you can improve on, or what they feel has went right. So the purpose of this meeting is not to be judgmental with anybody, but to correct anything that we need to correct and try to make it better. So next time if it happens, we're all working cohesive and we get it done, and you know, it's basically like a flawless transition, or you know, the way we move into things and whose responsibilities are whose. Okay. I know, and you can commend Alan, because Alan was at the shelter for a long
I
time.
was there for about 4 hours Friday and then about 6 hours on Saturday.
So,
And I was kinda, after I was done with my other duties.
and you were doing highway stuff
Yeah,
and everything else going on, so, and I know
and
I talked to, you know,
out-
the chief over there several times, making sure he was getting some sleep because he was going all night long. So it's like the Energizer Bunny.
So would we need like a, not a policy, but like a procedure or a guide for how to do this next time?
Well, I
Does
think
that
we need to
help?
talk about how we're gonna do it, because we really haven't done a regional shelter.
The
That's
last
the reason for the
regional-
tabletop review.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
The last regional shelter was 2011, the October snowstorm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was the last time. And then
Wow.
we had some cooling centers and heating at the senior center set up, but that was the first.
And there was different people back then, and
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
there's a lot of different people now. You know, that was 12 years ago. So, and a lot of things have changed, capabilities have changed. You know, and a lot of this is looking at what we have available for assets for something like that. We have cots and things like that now. You know, it was great that Principal Duff was available because he was able to stand up his people and get, you know, food being served, you know, refreshments, things like that. So
this is typical.
everybody worked together, but, you know, it went great because everybody knows each other and everybody works with each other. And when somebody calls, they know they're not calling to just talk about Facebook. They're talking about, hey, I need help now. And everybody jumps in and gets it done. So, but this is something we all could talk. I know you guys had a little bit of concerns about the night. So it'd be good to talk about that and see what you guys felt from your perspective too. And it wouldn't be fair us to talk about what's going on with West Brookfield unless we had its representatives in front of us so we can have that conversation.
We'll have a police chief by then.
Huh?
We'll have a new chief by then, too.
Oh, really?
Oh, good.
Awesome. It'd be good to have him available in there and have everybody on the same picture. Are we aware who it is?
Yes.
Has it been announced yet?
Yeah, it kinda has, not in the newspaper, but most of the townspeople know it's a sergeant that's coming from the town of Sudbury. He lives in Leicester.
Oh. Okay.
Amazing candidate.
Is his first name Tommy?
No.
Okay, all right.
I was just gonna say, whatever is said in here generally ends up in the paper, so if you're
Yeah.
not ready to release, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
No, that's what
Let your town release
I
it.
left it where it was, yeah.
But, so are you guys good with that? Will you be able to?
February 2nd, maybe? Talking to Chief.
You wanna do February 2nd?
Maybe what we should do is just replace our regular meeting and just concentrate on that.
Yeah.
I was gonna make that suggestion. It's probably
Yeah, we
better
can
just to keep the agenda
make sure
to
this
that
is
night.
one thing.
So that's Thursday, February 2nd is a Thursday?
Thursday, February 2nd.
Yeah.
So we'll target that. Can you have your people? And I would like, I don't know if Alan's available, but if Alan could be here, because he was there for a long time, and I like to get the perspective of the people that are there,
Definitely not.
doing the stuff, so
So 6 PM, February 2nd, that's all it is.
that's it. We're
Got
just
it.
gonna do a
Tabletop.
Where would we-
Tabletop.
Tabletop kind of thing.
well,
And pizza.
That FinCom room or?
Yeah, you could
yeah, we
do
can do
that.
the FinCom room.
Okay.
So we'll have it here. And if we can notify the selectmen for West Brookfield, okay? Make sure Becky knows and she can confirm whoever's gonna be here. Notify the school for Principal Duff and also the superintendent.
Mhm.
She should be here too. Highway Department. West Brookfield Fire, Emergency Response, and Police. Same with Warren, Fire, Emergency, and Police.
Mr. Chairman, can I
Sir,
make
team.
a suggestion, just?
Yes, Chief.
The gymnasium might be a better forum for that, because if you put the tables like you did at the Holiday, where they're around, everyone will have a place. I think the
Oh.
FinCom's gonna be a little tight with.
It could be, and there's
Yeah,
only
I
like
mean,
one
you're not
table or
gonna,
something.
it's just not, just the amount of select boards alone are gonna take up the table up there.
Yeah, we could do
So, if we set it up similar to what we did for that event, I think that would, everyone can face each other and that would be better.
Yep, no, we could do that. And because it has to be a public meeting, just so you're aware, it is gonna be open to the public. And most likely Travis is gonna televise it. If he can televise from downstairs, can you, Travis? If he's paying attention. He's running downstairs.
Or falling. You hear? They could run away.
It's like the wind.
Too bad with this.
Are
But
you
yeah,
able-
we can go live from downstairs. We have lines that run to the gym, so
Very good.
we'll just have to set up the cameras and that down there.
Can you send a feed to West Brookfield somehow? So it could go on theirs too?
Currently, no,
That's not running anyway.
Yeah, West
Oh.
Brookfield doesn't even have anybody running access.
Okay.
If they ever do get somebody in the future, all the stuff, upgrades that we're doing in that, we'd actually be able to, depending on how they set their system up.
But they do have a West Brookfield Community Issues page or West Brookfield Neighborhood Watch too, right?
Yes.
We could probably live stream on their
Yeah.
thing also too.
Unless she's here.
Whoever runs the page would have.
Yeah, it's
to,
her. Yeah,
because-
I know her.
Okay.
You know,
Well,
she's.
Maybe notify her, see if she's interested.
I can ask her.
I can, because we have the live stream of WCAT 12, we can always post that link you know, a little bit before the meeting, because then people can click on that link and they'll get a live stream of the meeting.
You could do it on the fire department or the emergency management page also.
There you go. So we could do that, we can give them the live link then, right?
Yeah,
And you could put it on your page and say, hey, we're gonna have a meeting such and such day, here's the link for our live stream. So, all right. We'll get it out there, we'll work it.
Don't trip on your shoelace.
yeah, thanks.
Okay, so we got that scheduled, we're good with that. And as our emergency management director, you're gonna be prepared, right?
Yep.
All right,
I have already these guys had, you have this too, so just hold on to this.
Yeah, this
Kind of
already has like some
detail.
ideas in it,
Yes,
right?
it has
Yeah.
a couple ideas in it.
Yeah,
If Other,
this is good.
other ideas come upon, they can be shared.
yep.
So that's, we'll leave that at that for now, and we'll talk about that more on February 2nd.
Yep.
Yep.
Um,
And then what else do you got for us?
So I'll go into my regular summary. I did the last 2 months of 2022, November and December. December was kind of quiet, just the siren tests. November 12th, our team went over, and a couple members helped Sturbridge start out with a road race. They had a couple road races this year, they invited us to help out. Help basically the traffic around the routes, bad spots on the courses, stuff like that we're stationed at. In our November meeting, we went over a traffic control safety procedures and a training video I have. 5 members attended that. November 27th, we helped the police and fire, Southbridge Road and Bemis Road. They had a chimney fire issue and they had to shut the road down. All the apparatus was on the road. It was for about an hour. Helped them put out some signs and stuff. And then for December, we had our tree lightings. That was rescheduled a few times, but everything came together real good with those. We had a couple members from Charlton come out and help us, get the siren test. Then we helped West Brookfield with their tree lighting events. And then, of course, on December 17th, we helped with the Veterans Council Reef Across America ceremony, parking and security for the event. Then one other thing I want to bring up too, this week we had this has happened about 3-4 times since I've been involved in this. Between Bridge Street and Old Town, if there's any incident that shuts down the road, there is a big, long detour that has to be set up. That goes all the way out to Reed Street, South Street, because there's really no connecting loops or easy detour, which takes a while to set up. So I just kind of want to put that out there that sometimes it takes a little bit to set up a detour that large.
Well, believe me, I've seen all the chatter on Facebook
Yes,
about
yeah,
it.
just-
Social media is very upset about it, and very opinionated, but also very supportive also in aspects of it. And people need to understand, yes, as it may be an inconvenience to you, people's lives are at hand. And sometimes we need to take a couple extra turns to get where we need to get, or maybe turn around, because the priority right there is life, health, and safety. And, you know, when the fire department, when the police respond, they're the first ones on the scene, they secure the scene, they try to render aid if they can till the fire department gets there, and hopefully the fire department gets there really quick and, you know, handles, you know, whatever they gotta do in a vehicle accident. And, you know, securing that area and securing that scene is priority until others can get on scene and expand that area to make it a little easier for residents, but immediately it's gonna be inconvenient for people, and that is life. You know, sometimes we gotta get beyond ourselves and look at what is actually at hand, and if there's a emergency going on, just follow what the emergency responders are telling you to do, because they're looking out for your safety and the safety of the incident. Nobody is purposely going out there trying to cause you to have a bad day. Things happen in life sometimes, and we just need to deal with them. Did you have anything else on that?
That's pretty much it, I just wanted to make that, that's one of the worst places in town for have an incident.
There was a similar situation like 2 years ago, right?
We had that 2 years ago, we had it more than rush hour, and there was a lot of people that went up Coy Hill, down Old West Warren, back, and then you go in circles. I had certain people at the lights trying to get people up South Street, they were driving right by them. It's, you know.
Chiefs, did you want to address that
One
at
of those
all?
things.
I think you said it the best, and you know, I know a lot of people think that immediately we're gonna have a detour set up, and that's not gonna happen.
When you have a
things that we have
town
to
with
address first.
2 police officers on,
Maybe one.
maybe one in some situations. In other towns, if you can get mutual aid, maybe dealing with a domestic or something else, and it's very hard to pull resources quickly to deal with something like this. You know, I know West Brookfield, sometimes you guys are pretty commonly running with one police officer on, and try to call mutual aid to pull that one police officer out of your town to handle something in our town to deal with our one police officer, and then you have multiple streets that feed into an area. It becomes very difficult to manage that traffic. And we understand we have CERT and we have highway, and everybody tries to pull together and do the best they can. But ultimately, the priority is letting the responders do what they need to do to hopefully save a life, or, you know, make sure no other lives are in jeopardy at that point. And you guys do an outstanding job. You're doing great, and keep up what you're doing. Sometimes it's just people are all about themselves and not about others. So, guys good with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough area, that it happens every once in a while, we get an issue in that area. The other thing too is, I mean, we try to put out an alert or a Facebook message or something just to get people understanding that there's going to be a detour set up, or there is a detour set up, but that area too is a complete dead zone for cell service. We couldn't even get a message out in that area, so, you know, it's just one of those things that particular little small area there is just, it's kind of stacked against us, so you know, we always do try to do that, but at the same time, we're focusing on the patient care and that kind of stuff, so people just need to give us a little bit of time and a little bit of patience so we can get those resources out there.
So I think, like you said, the best thing is probably town alerts, right? If people haven't downloaded that. because
Yeah, but
that's-
if they can't get it and they
Yeah,
can't
but
get there in
somebody,
time.
somebody here can get it out.
Someone could put it out.
And it's a push, so it's not like you have to be looking at Facebook. It'll appear right on the phone. So that's the best way to get that info out. So if people have that on their phone.
Yeah, we are up to 1,200 Warren residents receiving town alert.
All right, we need more. There's more people than
Keep
1,200.
advertising that, the more we use it. I
Yeah.
put weather forecasts and statements and all
Yeah.
that out.
By the way, Brookfield is gonna come into the system too.
Oh, good.
Very good. Very good.
And Jim, now that you do touch town alert, CERT team is also on West Brookfield, right? Or not?
Yeah, you guys share, right? It's kind of a mutual.
Yeah, it's a regional team.
Yeah.
Actually, there's probably gonna be possibly some
So-
more push up.
So I could give you the rights to post on both towns, because you serve both towns, so you could be able to be into the West Brookfield
Yeah, if they,
But we're only using
You're
it for
only
emergency
using it for-
purposes, we don't put,
yeah.
we're only using it for like road closures and things of the like. We don't post on it daily, just for emergencies. Unlike Warren, you guys post a lot,
However they wanna use it.
yeah. Our folks felt as though if we post too much, people will stop looking at it.
Oh, yeah, there's that.
Okay. Do you have anything else, Ed? Sir?
I think I'm good with everything for now.
Chief, did you want to introduce yourself, just in case if anybody didn't know you?
Fire Chief in West Brookfield, Sloppy here.
Nice meeting you, sir, again.
Meet you again. Derek,
And congratulations on the job.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks. Working process.
All right, gentlemen, did you have anything to add? No? Okay. Got any questions?
No, I don't.
Any questions?
Just looking forward.
All right. So next one, Fire Department Monthly Report. Chief, you're up.
See you, Rich. Take care. Good evening, everybody. Adam LaVoy, Fire Chief. Just a quick report for December. We responded to 46 different fire incidents in December, ranging from activated alarms, motor vehicle accidents. We had quite a few motor vehicle accidents. Medical assists, four times were canceled. Oil burner issues, cooking fire incidents, carbon monoxide issues, which we've seen an uptick in the last few months, especially in the last few weeks. We've seen quite a few of those for heating issues and stuff. Investigations, structure fires, service calls, mutual aid, power line incidents. So it's just a variety of different calls that we've been on. Had a relatively busy month in ambulance, 65 calls in December. We had 10 ALS intercepts that were required for those calls. We did a decent amount of inspections, or at least the ones we record for smoke and carbon monoxide inspections, which are required whenever there's a transfer or sale of property. 5 propane tank inspections, 2 oil burner and tank inspections. We did not have EMS training in December, only because we had so many trainings in the month prior for our EMT refresher, so we gave everyone that month off to kind of recover from that, because that was a lot of training in a short month. So Warren Fire did train in some hose line deployment and hose packing, looking at deploying what we call our Mattadale lines, our main hose lines coming off the truck. So we did some drills in that, and then let everyone enjoy their holiday. The budget, in terms of budget, I'm watching it very closely, as I always try to do. Everyone knows, we're seeing a big increase in utility bills, fuel bills specifically. So watching that just as quickly as, as carefully as I can, and certainly I'll be reporting on any red flags or issues that are coming down. Right now we're pretty much in line of where we want to be, but just in case anything weird comes down the pipe, we'll certainly let you know how that's playing out. I did get a little off the report here, but I did get a call this afternoon that the defibrillators will be coming in tomorrow. So they're going to be dropped off at the station, and we will get them ready for installation and trainings and stuff like that. They're coming in a giant crate, so we'll have to store that temporarily until we can get everything online. But I anticipate that happening in the next few weeks. I'll work with Jim on that and get that scheduled. So that's some good news. They were delayed for a while. I thought they were going to be delayed even longer, but we got a phone call today. They're ready to ship. So those will be coming in. Just to mention a couple other things outside, Jim did mention a few of them. We did participate, obviously, in the winter storm shelter operations. We did participate in the Santa Run over in December, which is always well received by the town. I think that's an event that everybody looks forward to, and seems like it gets a lot of good kudos for there. So, I'm very thankful for the people we have that do that kind of stuff for the community. So, that's really all I have.
Very good. Well, thank you very much, Chief.
You're welcome.
Got any questions?
No, I don't.
No, sir.
Thank you. Chief, you're up.
Chief Glut, Police Chief. For the month of December, we logged 1,778 calls for service, 28 ending in arrests, 77 incident reports, 18 were summons, 3 warrant arrests, 7 on-view arrests, 7 protected custodies, 314 motor vehicle stops, and with 130 motor vehicle citations. For the month, we started, I know we talked about the tree lighting. I just wanna touch on that again and thank everyone from the Warren Patrolmen's Association as well as Parks to put on a great event. This year, the patrolmen started off, a new event called Stuff the Cruiser, with the help of the Grinch. And as, I just wanted to touch that, they were able to collect over 600 toys, and they helped 50 families and 144 children. So they did a great job. We couldn't have done it without the citizens of Warren. They came through and really helped out. For the third year in a row, I did conduct my holiday card competition with the fifth graders at Warren Elementary. The card that went out to everyone, that was designed by a fifth grade student. I gave them a little gift for designing it for us. Let's see, on the 6th, I attended a leadership conference held by the Massachusetts Chiefs Police Association that was out in Norwood. On the 13th, I met with our domestic violence task force at the Ware PD. The task force is made up of the task force members and the chiefs from Ware, Warren, and Hardwick, as well as the town manager from Ware. 14th, the school safety committee met. That I'd like to, Adam will tell you, is Mr. Irwin from the school is a huge part of that, and he does a great job with the school safety and putting everything together. So I just wanted to thank him. Let's see. On the 15th, Chief Lavoie and I, we attended the holiday show at the elementary school. Each grade did a great little show for us, or for everyone. And we also, after that, we went to the senior center's holiday party, which was,
really nice.
was a great event. That's the first time I've been there since, obviously, since I've been chief. It's been COVID, so I haven't really attended much. So it was a nice little. They put on a nice event. And then, obviously, on the 17th, we all were at the wreath laying ceremony at the cemetery. That was a great event. Actually, it's the first time I think we had it. It's the first time I've been there. Becky and Rich did a good job. I think they laid almost 600 wreaths.
That was a
Wasn't
lot.
it 500?
Yeah, it's like it was 500 something at the end of the day. It was a great event. It was well done.
And finally, on the 28th, while school was out on break, we used the school to conduct the training with our officers. Lieutenant Early put on the training. We used inside and outside. We did a few things for motor vehicle outside, and then the inside, obviously, we did our searches and stuff inside. So it was, we were able to use that while they were on break.
Do you have any questions?
Milo, what's happening with Milo? Have you been using any?
So Milo, the person's coming on the 25th and 26th of this month.
Okay.
To instruct us on everything with the machine. So after that, we'll be up and running.
Excellent, okay.
We could do the meeting over there.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions, sir?
I'm just so glad you guys do a wonderful job. Thank you very much. In the name of all residents of the town, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very good, guys. A lot of good training, a lot of good events. December was very busy for everybody, and everybody did a great job. Thank you. And to all you guys, they stepped up, you know, between the toys and the wreaths and everything going on. It definitely shows, you know, shows on you guys and your leadership too. So, but great job. And that Grinch, he's a big hit. Yeah. Mr. Farrar, did you have anything?
No, I think the police and fire are doing an outstanding job with, you know, all coordinating at the last incident we had with this snowstorm. And I work closely with both chiefs on budgetary matters. We were just notified, unfortunately, today, we have an officer that's going to be resigning. It's going to be going to another department.
Going to Belchertown.
Going to Belchertown. So it's unfortunate. We're working with the chief to get that advertised and get that up and running, get that position filled. But we just received notification of that today.
Okay.
Do you do an exit interview to just find out?
Actually, Lieutenant Early and I talked about that today.
Yeah.
Be a good idea.
That's a cool plan.
You know, we did the new pay scales,
Right.
so hopefully that's not an issue, but
Yep.
find out, yeah.
Yeah,
what's-
funny you brought that up. We just were talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, especially you guys, you know, we did departments. You know, some of the departments are really small and you kind of know, everybody talks, so. All right. Cool. Do you guys have anything else for us?
Oh,
Okay.
that's about it.
You okay, chief?
What? Me? Oh, yes, I'm fine. Oh, I actually, I did, you just dawned on me. So we did order the street signs. Those will be coming in. I just got off the phone with the woman today, and those should be in about a week and a half. So the address signs, I'm hoping. So they were ordered. We ended up with 200 of them total, so that should be good. So we'll start distributing those. We'll get a plan in place to get the notice out to people, have them do some sort of a sign up, and then we'll assist with an installation somehow, so. So those did come in too.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so those were the monthly reports. Now, on agenda 7, acceptance of a state grant from the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security for fire services in the amount of $5,858.
I didn't realize that was up next.
Yeah, where are you going, chief?
Sorry, I thought that was further down. Yes, so we were fortunate enough to be notified that we received this year's what's called SAFE Grant and Senior SAFE Grant. So this is something that we apply for every year. I'm kind of happy we do this. Talking with Jim, I'm kind of happy that we, you know, I guess it's better that people know what we're doing all the time, you know what I mean? And this is something we've always done, so it's been routine that we accept these things behind the scenes and then we, you know, do what we do, but I guess it's certainly better for the board to know and the town administrator to know what grants we're applying for and how we're doing it, and it's better that there's a formal process in place to have it accepted and signed by the Board of Selectmen, so that, you know, kind of people are just aware and everything's transparent as to what we're doing. So this is a grant that's geared specifically towards the SAFE program, which is Students Awareness of Fire Education. This is a program I teach every single month up at the elementary school, specifically in the 4th grade. It specifically focuses on all different types of fire safety topics, but primarily to home escape planning, the importance of smoke and carbon monoxide detectors, how they work, why they're important, how they're maintained, you know, carbon monoxide in general, how that can hurt and harm people. We talk about cooking safety, we talk about ice safety, we talk about winter storm preparedness. In fact, that storm, that came right after that class, so it was kind of convenient, you know, when we talk about emergency kits and emergency preparedness and how many days you should be prepared to have water and food and that kind of stuff. So we cover a whole variety of topics, and the SAFE program has been going on for probably well over 3 decades now, and we've seen a lot of improvement in terms of not as many fatal fires and injuries in fires across the country, because we used to have a real big problem when you know, most people, the older generations, you know, they weren't raised with safety topics, the importance of smoke detectors, the importance of carbon monoxide detectors and early warning. So this grant is specifically geared towards that, and it's also geared towards the Senior SAFE, or what's called Senior Grant, which allows us to get materials and distribute things and visit the senior center, visit the housing authority, and do classes on things like slip and fall prevention, things that are important to that demographic, things that we see, you know, especially cooking, something like that. We go to a lot of activated alarms, false alarms from cooking. You know, a lot of times someone may turn on the stove, forget that they turned it on, you know, and you know, get distracted by something else. So we focus similar things but different to target that demographic with some of the issues they have, especially slips and falls. How do we prevent them? You know, urging that, you know, not to have rugs in the house or extra rugs that you can trip over and stuff like that. So, you know, all of this is geared towards purchasing things, you know, medication pill boxes to make sure it's aligned properly so that people don't get their medications mixed up accidentally. So all these things are unique to that whatever demographic we're trying to do, and it allows us to purchase that those materials outside of our budget, which is the biggest thing. We don't have the budget, you know, I can't spend thousands of dollars out of the town's, you know, allotted budget to purchase these things. So this grant allows us to get that stuff outside and distribute it, which is fantastic. So this is where we get the plastic fire hats and all the things we visit schools with and everything. So it's a really, really nice program. You know, I hope it continues because it's been very, very successful. And this is something that's my favorite part of the job, to be honest. I've said that a million times, but it is. I love being in schools. You know, it's so much fun to talk to the kids, and they eat it up. They love every second of it. So I hope it goes on for many, many more years. But this is a formal way for the select board to acknowledge the grant and to allow for signing of it, and then I'll turn the contract back to the state.
once that contract is acknowledged by the state and signed, they will send the money, and it'll be an electronic fund transfer to Dawn.
Very good. Good job, chief. Thank you. You know, awesome work with all the grants and, you know, the importance of all this stuff. And thank you for acknowledging that we're a poor town too.
Any grant we can get, you know, I mean, there's some grants are tricky and stuff, but this one here is 100%, there's no, you know, there's no put in, or allotment that the town's required for, this is state money
No
coming
matching.
directly, there's no matching, it's not a matching grant, there's, you know, no monies for that whatsoever, so that's a good thing, you know, it's strictly coming from the state.
Very good. Good job. Do you have any questions?
No, I don't. Sounds like a great program.
I just propose that we make a motion to accept it.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Make a motion to accept the state grant from the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security Fire Services in the amount of $5,858.
Second.
All in favor?
Rich Hacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously, and we'll be accepting the grant for the fire department.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Than't you very much. Good job.
Appreciate it.
Chief, are there any like DARE programs anymore that do anything?
Nope.
No,
That's why I said
Nothing
to
for
him,
police?
there's no grants for me to get little police hats for everyone.
What about the, remember the old,
McGruff?
the identification kits and stuff? They used to be able to give with their families? You took a picture, fingerprint.
Rutland does that now for us. They have a process.
We don't have anything?
No. So they do a child thing where it's all
Because it'd be
electronic.
nice if we could do like, I don't know, say if we ever get farmers markets up and stuff.
So that's what they'll
Farmers
do.
market and,
So Rutland Dispatch has a program that when we start doing events like that, they'll come out and it's all electronic. So they'll take a picture of your kid, they'll fingerprint them, and it doesn't save in a database. They give you, I think it's a flash drive.
Yeah, it's a
Does that
flash
sound right?
drive, a CD and a flash, I think it might just be a flash drive now, but it was, I believe they even do a DNA sample and everything like that, I believe. I thought they did. 'Cause
So nothing actually saves in the system, so the parent will have it.
Yeah.
yeah.
And if anything happens, the parent can come in with a flash drive with all the information on it.
You know, last time I seen it was like it was almost like a little
A little
passport.
the Molly Bish Foundation used to do that.
Yes,
Yes, they did.
yeah, all right. No hats though, huh? No more badges.
Right?
No, unfortunately, there isn't, you know.
The police department gets nothing anymore.
Yeah, I don't know, I'm not aware of any grants, I mean, once the DARE program kinda ended, that was about it, you know?
They stopped funding that.
No. Set. All right. Well, let's move on. All right, so number 8, review and possible vote to execute a contract between the town of Weston and Sampson, Inc. for bidding, contract, construction, administration, and engineering services for a Prospect Street Improvement Project. Okay, all right, where do we stand with this?
So, Mr. Chairman, good evening. We had this on the agenda the last meeting. There was a question as to whether or not the board wanted to pursue a performance bond. You guys had indicated that you wanted to move in that direction, so I contacted Weston and Sampson. They are, they're obviously able to get a performance bond. They will be providing that as part of it. It's stipulated in Article 21 of the contract. It's going to cost somewhere around $935 to get the performance bond, which will protect the interests of the town and ensure the performance is correctly done. And it won't affect any of the pricing of this. We anticipate that once the bids come back, maybe the bids will be lower than anticipated, where that it could absorb that cost. Or what you'll know that is a little different is that the inspection sites have been reduced by 9, which we could also adjust as well to anticipate, if we have some additional funds. that come in for, the bidding coming back lower than anticipated, we would be able to, add back in, 9 inspections. Weston and Sampson was not able to absorb the full 935, so what they did was they took 9 inspections off of the, I think it was 200 that they had allotted, for the amount of the project, which we can obviously add back in, once we see that it's, what the bids come back at. It is approved by town council as to form. Jeff has signed it, and it is also approved by the town accountant for the availability of funds.
Okay, very good. Do you have any questions, sir?
Yeah, I still have, I guess I've been doing a lot of thinking. I talked to Jim, I talked to Chris Dunphy about the performance bond, and I still have a lot of reservations, I guess, about it. Not the concept of the performance bond, but just an application of this contract. I feel like Weston and Sampson has done a ton of work for the town. I think there's no issue of trusting them or their reliability. I think if we had brought this up at the beginning of the process, I would feel more comfortable with it, but since we kind of added it at the back end, I think that it surprised them. So, I'm just kind of hesitant about it. I think moving forward, it's fine, and I know we did it with the keyless entry, which is, that's appropriate.
No, it's in there now.
Yeah.
It's in there now, they absorbed it, they're good with it.
And we did, we're potentially losing some services from it. I mean, we're assuming maybe the bidding will come under what we've budgeted, but if it doesn't, then we lost, those inspections, so, I don't know.
I'm good with it. It's written in there, it's approved by town council. It's actually part of our bylaw to make sure it's in there.
But it is at our discretion.
Yeah, but it also is there to protect us overall. Yes, it was put in there late and a little after the fact, but, they don't seem to be having an issue with it, and they added it. Now it's in there, on the signed copy, so just in the future, we just need to make sure that we're very transparent with it and upfront and say, hey, the town requires a performance bond for any of these projects. So, sometimes.
We're well aware of that for future projects.
So, and the other thing is, how is this different from, say, a warranty on work? So take like the keyless, right?
Mhm.
There's obviously a warranty to that work. If they put it in 3 months from now, it doesn't
So a
work.
warranty is basically for defects, okay? A performance bond is simply just for the performance of the contract. If they can't perform to the contracts, the town is protected.
Okay, so if they just up and don't show up one day.
Right, if they don't perform the 191 inspections, if they fail to perform within the scope of these services, then the town is protected.
Okay.
It's common practice.
And I think it's ensuring they're actually, we didn't have any problems with them or anything, but we gotta start somewhere, and if we use any other engineers later on in the future, or anybody else in something like this, and they say, well, we've never been asked that before, well, we do. It's standard practice for all our contracts, to have this in there, and it's really to protect the town, because the town's investing the money, and we have no recourse of getting anything back, other than having to sue. And that could cost us a lot of money and a lot of time, and then it ends up in a settlement, and we don't get as much as we wanted, and then it's all hurt feelings everywhere.
So my other question would be, I guess, when was that bylaw added, and is the $4,000 limit too low? I know it's at discretion, but in other words, if that $4,000 limit was put in there 20 years ago,
You may wanna increase it.
yeah, I may wanna increase it. It's same as like, you know, we have we're doing secret ballots for $25,000 or more, but that was done 20 years ago, you know, and now everything's over $25,000.
Typically, the threshold for Massachusetts is what, $10,000? So I think if we upped it to $10,000 or more.
Yeah, it might be, yeah, because we don't wanna end up catching every small
Yeah.
contract.
Right, because a lot of these,
So a lot of the.
but this is a big one.
Yeah.
The smaller mom and pops, the sole proprietors, it's tough for them to get a performance bond, you know,
Yeah.
it's a lot more work, they need tax returns, they need, you know, previous jobs that they've done. The bigger corporations, like Weston and Sampson, it's not tough,
Yeah, yeah.
not tough. It's not tough for a time bond, you know, it's
Right.
not tough for those companies. It's tougher for the smaller mom and pop, so you may wanna consider, you know, changing that in the future, you
Yeah,
know.
we'll have to
Yeah.
look into that, like you said, maybe raise it up higher,
Yeah, up
their
the
threshold,
Yeah.
so, yeah. All right. Other than that, do you have any questions? Do you have anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Do you have any?
Sounds great.
Okay. You wanna do it?
Motion to execute a contract between the town and Weston and Sampson, Inc. for bidding, construction administration, and engineering services for the Prospect Street Improvement Project.
Second,
All in favor?
Rich Hacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Okay.
You have to sign that one, Mr. Chairman, just one.
Right here.
What, you don't trust I'll sign it later? Today's the 11th.
Today's the
12.
12. Okay. All right. Vote to designate the town administrator as the town's environmental certifying officer. Okay, and this was a requirement that we had to designate somebody as the town's environmental certifying officer. You know, previously Karen was, it's kind of outside her scope of duties though. It's more of a town administrator position. So I told Chris Dunphy that we would be moving Mr. Ferrara over to that position. And now we're up for a vote to make sure that that's what's happening, unless you think somebody else should be doing it.
I just wanna know what an environmental certifying officer.
Certifies the environment.
is. What is that?
So, it has, from my understanding, it has to do with the Community Development Block Grant Fund. There's, you know, there's certain paperwork that needs to be, make sure that it's done for environmental purposes on different CDBG projects.
So basically, Rita Mitchell would sign your name.
Mhm.
Paper chaser.
Yeah, okay.
You just, they need somebody's name in that position so they can hold that person accountable,
Mhm.
so.
Okay.
Do you have any questions, sir?
So we call you from now on Professor Jim Ferrara?
Hey, you
ECO.
didn't call me that.
ECO.
Well, I didn't know you were the officer.
Yeah, I neither.
With all my, with
You
all
guys all
due
voted
respect.
me in.
For last time.
We did?
We did.
Yes.
We do a lot of these meetings, you know, you can't remember everything.
There's a lot that happens in a town,
That's what I'm
especially a
here for.
small sleepy town like Warren.
Yeah.
All right, so do you guys have any questions about it?
Nope.
No, sir.
Okay, do a vote.
Motion to designate Jim Ferrara, the town administrator, as the town's environmental certifying officer.
Second,
All in favor?
Rich Hacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Okay, you are blessed, sir.
Thank you.
David has to sign it too.
Nope, sign. You don't have a letter under 10?
No, I don't, it's not ready yet.
Oh,
So we gotta pass over?
No, I do want to report on it, though.
Oh,
But to make sure you get a good screen over here, because newspaper takes a screenshot from here to put on your newspaper.
Town of Warren's new ACO.
You should get him a better background, though. Those stripes are like.
What if we can get him a badge for that?
So 1970s.
Have you seen with your newspaper?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they love throwing his picture up in the paper. It's photogenic. Okay, sir, so what do you have for us on the next item on the agenda is review of a letter drafted by town administrator to CSX regarding the condition of their bridge. And then this is the bridge going underneath, to the town center, what's the name?
Maple
of it?
Street.
Maple and Southbridge.
Maple and Southbridge? Okay. We've been receiving a lot of complaints
Yes.
about this bridge. It has been an issue for a very long time. We've brought this up in the past,
Mhm.
and people have brought it to us, and CSX does their annual inspections, and they say it's all set. But anybody that drives under it,
Or walks?
Yeah.
Walks.
So, Mr. Chairman, I was able to coordinate with Police Chief Willett with regards to getting a hold of somebody at CSX. So he was able to get us the 1-800 action number for CSX. And they're based out of Jacksonville, Florida. And what I did was, over the phone, was able to file a report with a person, a representative with CSX for their division of, inspectional services. And we have a report that has been filed as of yesterday with CSX. A letter will also be going out that you will see in the next meeting. We'll have it already, it will already have been sent out, but it has been reported to CSX. We have a tracking number of the actual report, and we will be able to understand, what type of response they'll be having. They'll be notifying us of a response. So we actually have a case number for CSX that's on file here that I have, that I will be referencing in the letter, and the letter will be going out next week.
and how you send the letter out?
Certified.
Okay. I don't know if we wanna take pictures
Yeah, we'll have copies of it too, sure.
and attach the pictures of the condition of the bridge, because, again, people are handing us chunks of metal from the bridge.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh,
Would
really?
you
Is
like
that
me
what?
to
Yeah.
take?
Oh, you didn't see the big chunk of metal?
No, where is it?
Yeah.
It's up
It's
on
sitting
the
up on his
bridge.
desk.
Oh.
From the bridge, it just, big piece. If you actually go underneath the bridge, those, they're kind
Cross
of
braces.
braces, the columns
Cross
that are
braces.
supposed to support it. If you look at them, they're completely rotted out in the bottom, and chunks of them are falling off,
Yeah.
and
Well,
not
they
like,
put that
not
cement.
rust, but the actual steel,
Yeah, yeah.
so.
Yeah, unfortunately, the oxidation, it's like cancer to be a steel, so once you
Yeah.
get it in, it just keeps going.
Especially when it's covered with cement, too.
It,
Right,
it will
'cause
keep
it-
going with
Yeah.
they, it's like blocking the sun with that finger, you cover it, but it's still there, and
The process has already started,
Yeah.
so.
unfortunately, so I'll take more pictures and give it to you?
Yes.
Have you guys received anything? Bob?
I haven't received, I hadn't received any for the structure itself. I've had a couple people in passing mention the vegetation on the top just being very unsightly and stuff, which I agree, it kinda does look, kind of messy up there, so. I am aware of what you're talking about. There are some spots that I have seen, from different incidents we've been at where I've had to go underneath there. We used to have quite a bit of flooding issues until they corrected that in that area, so we were down there all the time for we get a massive rainstorm, quick rainstorm, and we have a flash flood underneath there, and we've had cars literally stranded and stuck under there and had to go in and get the person out. It's been 3 feet, 3.5, 4 feet of water under there, so, you know, but most of that's been alleviated.
Yeah,
They
there's
did the
actually
drainage and
drains
stuff.
about 4 feet long on each side.
Yeah.
The highway, make sure they're cleaned all the time.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
it
huge
hasn't
improvement.
flooded
That's
since
been
the
improvement,
water
that's been a
break.
huge improvement, but while we were dealing with that, I did notice some of it almost looks like lattice, the
Yeah.
way it's
Yeah.
underneath there, and that portion of it is, I don't know if that's more aesthetic. It was supposed to be more aesthetic than it was structural, but that's the part that I've seen that's deteriorating, is more of the lattice type work.
I think those are probably structural.
Yeah.
I think they inspect that every year.
I just saw
Multiple times a year.
I saw a CSX employee just the other day, maybe 2 days ago, 3 days ago, walking underneath there with a hard helmet on and everything else. So maybe that came from that, I don't know. I mean, there was a gentleman from town talking to them when I went through there, and I didn't think anything of it at the time. This is the first I'd heard of it, so, that it was coming to the selectmen's agenda. But there was a gentleman that I believe was from CSX, he had a white construction helmet on, he was underneath there doing some, it looked like inspection, so.
Well, we have a case number, so, you know.
It's in their system, it already is
Oh, yeah.
submitted, so you're just following up with.
This is gonna be, we don't have to send a letter, but I wanna send a letter
Yeah.
just to have it for us documented. We have a case number, it's been reported, and they're supposed to take action on it. And,
Wow, so maybe that was a reaction to the submittal.
Okay.
Impressive.
Joe?
Joe Conrad, resident. You might want to also have them look at the railroad overpass on Gilbert Road. Because there's been a lot of times that the cement has fallen off onto the road.
Oh. Gilbert Road, yeah.
The bridge there,
No,
It's
further
beyond
down
that.
the,
further down.
oh, what, another 100 feet or?
Just past that,
200
about
yards or
100
something.
yards past that,
It's
there's
basically a one-lane
Bridge.
Yeah.
bridge,
Oh, yeah.
underpass.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And maybe in parallel, I know I said this before about the lines in there, and today I can assure it, again, not only for traffic, but there was a kid there trying to cross the road right there in that section, and there are no lines, so cars, you know, it's very dangerous. And without the middle line, I get a lot of cars coming at me when you go down there.
Mm.
I know Jeremy said there was a hard time getting paint, didn't he?
I know, but, you know,
I think he got it now, right?
I think he's in the process, I think he's waiting for it to not be freezing
Yeah, you
and
need certain
Yeah,
weather, right?
yeah.
the ground has to be a certain temperature,
Yeah, it's
Or
not gonna happen
it's
till
gonna peel up.
June or something probably, right?
No, probably April, May.
Oh, April's warm
That's a
enough.
springtime thing.
Yeah, April, May, right?
Yeah, probably through May, at least May,
This is
June.
what I remember.
If we could add on another one, the
Mhm.
Gilbert Road Bridge too. And then also see if we can have Jeremy put it on our wish list of things to get done.
Painted?
Yeah.
He already knows. He already-
The other thing, since we're creating a wish list for highway, the sign that's out here that says wrong way, the one that's crunched up and completely faded, people don't pay attention to it anymore. And the other night, I had a woman fly down that way, around the building and back up and out. I don't know why, but
Well, when we,
she was going, yeah,
when
she
we,
went the wrong way.
well, when we left the meeting, was it, oh, the planning board meeting, somebody drove through here in a pickup truck.
yeah.
Yeah, that was him.
That was me.
Was that the?
And that was probably something related to the detour. 'cause
That was
people
the
were-
detour. Yeah.
People were probably
Oh.
confused and not, so they
Okay.
were shooting, you know.
Yeah.
See, again, you know, we've talked about having cameras. I mean, if people are just driving through here, there's no reason to be.
Well, it was just kind of weird how because she drove the wrong way, and there's a big sign there that says wrong way, but it's really faded and beat up. It hasn't been updated forever. So we could probably get that replaced. And she went around the building and right back out the same way.
Hmm.
So, don't understand why that was really happened. People do weird things sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you on cameras, because we have our dumpster back there too.
It's been abused.
And people dump in our dumpster, which we found out, and we have to pay for that. So maybe if we can get something like Ring cameras or something like that, see if we can look into something like that. Or maybe a centralized camera system, so we can
Our new,
review it.
our new door system can have a camera attached to it.
Okay, but that's just for the door.
Well, you
Yeah.
could, though, you could shine the one that's on the back door, maybe.
Yeah, but it's going around, the door is here and the dumpster's like back there.
Yeah, if we can get like a camera, well, maybe some cameras on the doors, those would be good if we had those like cameras that are there. And then maybe something that goes out on the dumpster. So,
Also the clothing drop bins too, because people shouldn't be dumping there either.
Isn't that what we're talking about? We don't have a dumpster back there anymore.
But we
no, we
used to.
had.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Trash dumpster,
Yeah, because that's kind of a dark area and stuff, so.
I'll bring up some suggestions. I have cameras at home and I get a notification when, you know, the Amazon goes in my driveway and like, bing, oh, Amazon is here, so.
Yeah, I got Blink and.
Yeah, I got Blink too.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. It's good quality cameras and stuff, and you can see good and play back the video, and it gives you notifications when people are there. And you can shut off the notifications and stuff. But, if it's because it's a recurring expense, what's it, like $100 a year? Depending on what it is. Devices.
I got the cheapest one, so it's like $14 a year or something like that.
Oh, is it?
Because it doesn't save as much in the past. It saves like 2 or 3 days.
Oh, okay.
But what I do is when I get the notification, I can just download it to my phone and have that 10-minute video of evidence.
Yeah, it saves, like, I think I got a terabyte or something like that, or something massive on the cloud for video. But it saves all that.
Yeah.
But
But
for
mine
a year,
only-
it's like $100.
Mine only saves about 300 video clips of 10 seconds. You have a good chance to, you get the notification, you can download it to your phone and, let's save it instead of paying for it.
That's how the cameras are for the doors. They do, I think it's like 15 hours, but as soon as you can download it to the computer.
But
If
it
you wanna
rolls
set it.
over after the 15 hours, right? So, yeah, okay.
And they're very easy to install. Technically, you could just bring one from home and put it here.
Right.
You just connect to the Wi-Fi and it will do the same thing, so.
Something we can look at in the future.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you have anything else on CSX?
No, that'd be it, sir.
All right, so we're working on that one. Okay, discussion and review of the possible adoption of a petty cash policy and procedure for town departments.
You don't have anything in your tab.
So, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, we do. I put them in.
I don't have one.
You want mine?
So, Mr. Chairman, as stated at the last meeting we had, we were talking about petty cash. The town does not have petty cash policy or procedure. It is, some departments had lock boxes in the back of a drawer, in a filing cabinet, with some cash in it. So we pulled all that, out of the departments. We audited them with the treasurer and the accountant. We held them, they're being held in the treasurer's office. There's 2 departments that currently have petty cash that's active, which is the planning and building department and the police department. We did audit those as well, to reconcile those. Those have been reconciled frequently, because they're a high-use, petty cash. But, if the town wants to have petty cash, if the selectmen want to have petty cash, it's highly recommended that there's a policy in place and a procedure in place, for petty cash. And this week, I sat down with myself, the treasurer, and the accountant. We went over some best practices, kind of pulled some ideas together, and this is what we came up with for a start for our policy and procedure. There's some additional forms that we're going to possibly create for departments if this is accepted, to move forward.
The only thing I see right off the bat is the first sentence, petty cash is to be issued for departments. Is to be used for departments.
To make small incidental purchases and not to bypass the accounts payable system.
Should be petty cash is to be used by departments.
Okay, but.
I would say
use-
may be used by departments.
May be used by departments.
Petty cash is to be used for departments.
He's saying petty cash may be used by departments.
Okay.
So may.
Because what you're telling them is, it is to be used.
Okay, we can change that to maybe.
Right, it's an option.
Right,
So
it's
it's
an
not
option,
a
you
mandate.
may be able to, this is an option to use, basically if approved by the selectmen. Because what you're saying is they will use it, but then you're telling them later on that if approved.
Well, there's a procedure too.
Right.
So the second page also says that petty cash fund is initiated by a department head, chairperson, board, or committee in writing to the town administrator with final approval by the board of selectmen.
Okay, so that means you guys have to write the letter for me.
What do the police use petty cash for?
Mail,
Oh, okay.
that's mostly what she uses it for, buying stamps.
Yeah. And again, if we ended up getting some sort of postage metering thing, then planning wouldn't need it and police wouldn't need
Yeah,
it?
so,
Please would.
you can definitely do that, but, all of these expenses are tracked by a line item, for a budget. So if there's postage that's coming out of, say, the planning department, for planning, it's coming out of their expense line account.
Right.
Okay, so if we had a metered machine here, it's running, I don't know how we would be able to track, I don't know if there's a way to track to see which department gets charged for what.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's not only that, when you go down, sometimes, like, I went down to Nelson stuff, and one of the packages had more paper in it, so it cost me more, but I guess you could do that with the tracking thing, but with petty cash, I mean,
Yeah, the postage things would come with a scale.
Yeah,
It'd
that's
be
true.
size and weight. But yeah, it's probably,
Because it comes out of, the petty cash amount comes right out of their expense line, expense line,
just easier to deal with, I guess, right?
for tracking purposes.
Now you have a form, so anybody receiving petty cash is signing that they could be subject to disciplinary action if you're saying it's all there and you're missing
Correct.
$50.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's good to mention that we don't pay sales tax, so if they go
Right.
to Walmart or Lowe's to get something, right?
Right.
but then every person has to have no sales tax receipt or
Well,
slip.
Yeah, I mean, if they're gonna go buy something, then they should have that
I guess they get that from Dawn?
Sure.
Yeah.
So usually Dawn makes it out to who it is, like, if we get a new vendor, they make it out to the new vendor and send it, so she'd have to make out when someone's going to Walmart, she'd have to make one out for Walmart,
Mm-hmm.
so.
If you guys wanna, you can certainly take these home and look at them, and then, if you wanted to table it to the next meeting, we certainly can. If you're comfortable moving forward, we could do that.
I'm good. You good? You need time?
No, it looks fine to me. I didn't see anything, nothing jumped out at me like it was missing or whatever. I think this is pretty good. I do have another comment related to this, but not specifically about petty cash, so.
The only thing I would follow up with is under misuse of petty cash funds will result.
On the policy or the procedures?
On the policy.
Policy, okay.
Misuse of petty cash funds will result in the confiscation and revocation of the fund. And I would say, I would also put in there possible disciplinary action.
Okay.
Or termination. Right?
Oh, that would be
Up to-
disciplinary action.
Up to termination?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, if somebody takes a lot.
Well, that's under this, I think if you say disciplinary action, that's A to B, and do
Yeah.
anything. But if you wanna say up to termination, but $20 one time,
No, I think termination, but I mean, then it's clear in here that you can be terminated for violating that.
The appropriate term is usually saying up to termination.
Okay.
yeah, up,
Yeah,
face disciplinary action up to termination.
right.
Okay, I can add that.
Are you good with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good. Did you wanna table it, or are you good with this?
I'm good with this.
Changes?
Yep. I'm good with that.
I'm good.
As amended.
Yep. Okay. Do you wanna?
Make a motion? All right, so I will make a motion to accept the petty cash policy and petty cash procedures as presented and discussed and amended.
Second,
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
So can I add a thought on this?
No, we already voted.
Well, it's not really related to petty cash,
Oh.
but it's related to money and employees.
Yes, sir.
So recently there was a expenditure that was reimbursed, that was a larger amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
What I would like to see is a policy that states that no employee can spend more than $250 of their own funds to be reimbursed. I'm not, if I'm saying that correctly. So, in other words, if you need to spend more than $250, you have to get a check from somebody. You can't go use your personal credit card or your personal funds. Sorry, oh, I thought that was my phone. So we don't get into this situation where employees are putting out large amounts of money and then getting reimbursed. It's just not a good situation.
I don't like the fact that employees are putting out any money out of their own pockets.
Well, we haven't got there yet.
I know, baby steps.
But I'm saying right now, and maybe we can say, unless otherwise approved by town administrator or the board, but in general, no
That's a-
more than 250, 100, I don't know, pick a number.
Yeah, that's a problem when you've got some of the seniors go out and grab stuff for the senior center. And it comes to more than that.
Well, they shouldn't be.
Why can they get a check, or can we do something?
What are they grabbing?
Food, and they go grocery shopping.
So, This is another thing that we're gonna also discuss at the budget season too, is that a lot of departments, such as the senior center, we do have an account. We have an account at Big Y. I don't know why, maybe they choose not to go to Big Y, maybe they have better buy somewhere else. I know one of the places that they usually frequent is Restaurant Depot. There's an option, you know, that we're a municipality, that if we talk to Restaurant Depot,
Set up
maybe
an
we can
account.
set up an account.
Yeah, I think that's a better.
And that's
way
what
to
should
do it.
happen.
Right, so I don't know if department heads are, you know, not taking the initiative to set up the accounts, or, you know, I'm getting a feeling that that may be happening. So
Well,
we will help them set up the accounts.
I know with Lowe's, I tried to set up an account for Shepherd Building, and they said that somebody here had to personally sign for the town. And I know that Highway had to have it personally signed. Do you guys have to have it personally signed? Did you
What do you
guarantee
mean by
your Lowe's
personally-
card?
What do you mean by personally signed?
When you sign the application, it says that you're taking responsibility for that card.
Well, that's a credit card, that's
Right.
different. I'm talking like an in-store
Okay.
account.
Got
So
it.
we would get billed maybe,
Bill
or
us and then we get a check and
Right,
then,
they invoice us.
Okay.
like a bar tab,
Right,
Got it.
right.
yeah.
right?
I
So-
don't know
so-
what that is.
So for example, you know, when we procured the camera for the sewer department, right? This is a vendor that's out in the Midwest, okay? Doesn't know us from a hole in the wall. I said, we're a municipality, I gave them all the credentials. They shipped us a $10,000 camera because of the credentials that I had given him, and we obviously paid the bill. So, and they gave us net 30. You know, so some of these organizations, we can, you know, negotiate and try to set up accounts, try to set up terms with them because we're a municipality. But it just takes that initiative to get these accounts set up. You know, it's a little different if you're going with a store credit card. They have corporate policies that govern their stuff. But some of the local vendors, you can set up accounts for.
And it's not something unheard of from, like, Lowe's. I'm sure they got corporate accounts or vendor accounts that it's common, so, yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, and to Rich, I just want to, I'll speak for the fire department, but there may be other departments, Jerry can chime in, maybe Jeremy, but there, like, for us, I do know, just so the board is aware, there are some professional licensure fees that are like the EMTs, they have to pay for their recertification for their EMT cards. I reimburse them for it, because I can't physically do that for them, they have to go in and put their credentials in and do that, but we reimburse them for their, we just went through that recert, as you know, and, you know, they'll be turning in those bills, and we've done this for years, because they put in such effort for the fire department, so we pay for their reimbursement of their state fees for that. So if you're gonna set a limit, just be aware there are some departments that probably do that. So like the professional licenses, maybe the sewer department, where it's required of the job, and the department may reimburse them for that certification. So if you cap it, that might become an issue without knowing what other departments do, is all I'm trying to say.
Well, I mean.
Well, that's
we could-
professional development too. I think that's a little different versus just going out and buying stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
You know.
I'm just saying it falls under, they're gonna pay for it on their credit card. That's just so you're aware that there are departments out there where a licensure, it's a state Massachusetts license, is paid for by the employee and reimbursed by the department. So I just thought it would be worth throwing out there, because if it's capped at 100, I know the fees for mass license for EMTs is 145. So I just want you to be aware that some of those little things happen behind the scenes you're probably not aware of.
Okay, I mean, we could give Jim the ability to approve it, or Dawn, just a phone call and say, this person is gonna do this.
Okay.
Can I get the approval? Just so we know that, you know, that's a
Yeah.
personal expense coming down the line.
Oh, I have no problem with a policy in place, don't get me wrong, I just wanted you to know that these types of things are outside $15 worth of food at Big Y, it's a professional
Yeah.
license that they're paying for.
I think we're focusing more on a specific amount, because it was several thousands of dollars that was done
Okay. I get
out
that.
of somebody's personal account. And it could have been dealt with a check from the town.
better dealt with, I think.
Yes.
Understood.
So something like that, there's procedures that need to
Yeah.
be followed, and I think we need to get more on informing the employees that, hey, there is a process for this stuff. You really shouldn't be spending several $1,000s out of your personal funds for something, and then asking to be reimbursed, because you can request a check from the town
Correct.
to cut those funds.
So, there may be, you may wanna say there's a cap, and then if you need to go above the cap, then you need to get authorization either from the Board of Selectmen or the town administrator or the town treasurer or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's, yeah, because it gives enough flexibility then.
Mm-hmm.
I know with me that there was been talk about department credit cards. I mean, I use mine all the time for stuff down there. And one of the things was when we got the grant for an AED, the company we were buying it from needed a credit card, so I had to use mine. That was $1,400 or something like that, that I put on my card and then was later reimbursed. But if I had a department credit card,
So, since you touched on that, we did listen to another presentation today from Taylor Technologies, which is Munis, which is a town system for financing and permitting and all that stuff, accounting. One of the applications they have on that system is P-cards. So, and it's a purchase card, and you use it just like a credit card, but it comes directly out of your expense account. So you use it just like a credit card, you put in a request for a purchase in the system. Your supervisor reviews it, says, so if your guys have one, they put in a request for something, I want a new desk for our office in our beautiful police station. And you say, okay, yep, I approve it. You approve that request, it goes up to the accountant looks at it and says, okay, you're good, there's funds within the system for that, approves the purchase, and it goes through. So, and it's purchased. And it comes directly out of your budget, so there's no processing or anything like that, and then a warrant is issued for us to sign off on. So it's actually a good system, but that's one of the things that we're looking at within that system. And Don asked a lot of questions about it, and how it would be used, where the money comes from, how it's monitored, and the checks and balances for the card. And it seemed like a good idea, if we were to go with this particular software for town.
So when you're issued a card, it's automatically tied to a department?
It's tied to an account, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And what it is when you use that card, if you're gonna purchase something, you have a limit, so you set a limit on that card, the accountant sets a limit on the card, so you can't just turn around and say, well, I'm gonna purchase a $50,000 item with the card. You can only go up to a certain amount of money. And that's based on your that's to ensure somebody doesn't go over their budget. And then they go to make their purchase, they use the card, and before the card is approved and the purchase is approved, through that, because there's a lot of setup vendors already that are pre-approved for these cards, before that purchase is approved, like Amazon's a big one, you can use it on Amazon and all that. Before that's done, it takes the supervisor's approval and the town accountant to say, yes, those funds are available, and yes, it's an appropriate use for these funds. And that prevents departments oh, I want a new coffee maker. No, you can't buy a new coffee maker for your office. Okay, so that's gonna get denied. But if it's things related to the job and the functions and stuff, yeah.
Did the other packages offer something like this that you looked at?
No.
No.
But that is a separate vendor. The P card is a separate vendor.
Okay.
So you have to get with a vendor for that, but this software links with it.
Right, yeah.
So they communicate back and forth with the vendor. Like JP Morgan has a P card, which is a really popular one, and there's a bunch of others. You know, all these different businesses, well, big users of credit usually have them somehow. And all it says is like MasterCard or Visa on it. You can use it just like that. But yeah, so.
It's good.
It's still being talked about, and we were talking more about it today. So hopefully in the future, if we decide a software, that could be something that's attached to it too. And that would eliminate the need for departments to use their own money.
Yeah.
Because again, we all are not comfortable with that, so, at least I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't know if you are.
No.
Are you comfortable with it? Them using their personal money
Well,
to purchase stuff?
I don't like the employees to buy their own money,
To use their own money?
to use their own money to buy stuff for the town. It's not appropriate. I mean, that's why we're talking about petty cash.
Right.
There's some
Well,
money.
petty cash is only up to $100, but if you're sitting there, there's certain things that need to be purchased. And it's not gonna meet the threshold of doing say, having to come to the town and special town meeting or whatever, and requesting the funds for that use. You okay with it?
I don't know, it keeps undoing the pin.
No. So, you know, something like, I would agree in a situation where if somebody's spending several thousands of dollars, that should definitely go through the town, and a check should be issued for that purchase.
Yeah.
Small things, $50 here, whatever, it's like, I don't like it, but I understand. But I agree, there should be some threshold, and we should get this in the check where employees aren't doing that. Because they could put themselves in a really bad situation, because if we turned around and said, we're not approving that, that employee could be out several thousands of dollars.
Well, plus, it takes time for it to go through the process. I mean, we gotta sign it, it goes to, you know, the accountant, it goes to the treasurer to get paid. What if it takes 30 days and you get that credit card statement 15 days into the process? Now
Right,
you
now
gotta
you gotta
pay
go
it.
with, you get a fee.
Yeah, or you
attached
pay
to it.
interest on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, that's not fair.
no, that's not right.
Your credit
You know,
score
$50
goes down one
probably
point.
not that big of a deal, but when it's several thousands of dollars,
Yeah, yeah.
so yeah. Alright. So yeah, if we can, you're working on, I know you're already working on it, so. Alright. Anything else on that?
No, thank you for taking my comment.
Well, it's a valid comment. You know, it seems like we talk about it frequently now, this.
Getting out of the 70s.
Well, we did determine that we are, the town of Warren is still stuck in 1820.
Oh, 1820.
Because we did talk in the training today, and somebody brought up like, well, if we get out of the 1920s, and I'm like, when did we update everything? They're like, right, 1820s. Because a lot of our systems are very,
Antiquated?
very much so. Yeah. Yep. We're just short of bartering systems.
Yeah.
All right. So I lost my place here. All right, we did the petty cash and continued discussion on proposed draft for a universal employee evaluation program.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman. So this draft has been circulated. We had a staff meeting a few months ago. We've had, I emailed it out as well. I've gotten some comments from Rich with regards to a rating system, 1 through 5. I know I received some comments from Derek as well as an online portal that you can that you can put in the numbering of the system. But this is a draft that is before you that you can look at with those updated with those updated numbers and systems in there. It's important to also understand that a lot of this stuff that is going to be discussed is kind of confidential in nature in terms of the employee, the department head, and or myself that may have some impacts. So the making this too much of within the public, I would caution on that in terms of trying to do something more along the lines of having multiple people review instead of just having less the chairperson of a board versus the whole committee of the board type of deal. Obviously people of the board could submit comments or ask questions, but to try to keep it pared down I think would be helpful. And obviously this is the same document that you had seen a few months ago. Setting some goals. Obviously it's a new year, it's a new thing. Let's hear from our employees to see what type of goals they want to see themselves. Where do they want to go? What are their personal goals, professional goals, and how maybe we can help them achieve them. It's not always about disciplinary. It's about how we can motivate and help them get where they want to go in terms of their career and their job. So I think this allows for an opportunity to look at something very universal in terms of demonstrate skills and knowledge required for the position. So it's very generic in nature that it can apply to a lot of different positions here. Communications and customer service, obviously that applies to really everybody. So if you're going out on the road and you're fixing a pothole and a concerned resident comes up to you and says, hey, look at why didn't you ever fix the pothole that's on my street that I've been asking for 20 years, and that person gives like a bad remark or engages with that person not correctly, and then reports it back to the town, or there's some type of report of that. That can be, customer service skills are good in every position. So it's not just laborers, it's not just office staff, it's customer service in general, right? We all serve the public, we all have we all answer to the public. So, all those skills are very important. The quality of the work and the productivity, that applies to every position, I would feel. It's not just necessarily support staff in this building, but it's to any staff outside of the building. That would apply to. With regards to being creative and problem solving, taking initiatives, that applies to every position. Cooperation, teamwork, leadership, that applies to every position. And being dependable, in talking about attendance, that applies to really every position. So I think there's a way in which we can, look at that, and it also gives, some comments that employees can make. An employee can have an opportunity to also comment on their evaluation as well. You know, this is a bylaw in the personnel bylaw that we should be doing these every June. And we don't have a universal, you know, one in place, form in place, procedure in place. Some departments may be doing it on their own, some departments may be not doing it at all, some departments may have their own questions if they ask. This is a more comprehensive approach that you can, you know, look at, and then you can obviously pull it back, you know, 6 months later to see, okay, well, you said you were gonna work on this, how have we progressed? And to write some comments down there as well. This is a start. Again, we've gone from basically nothing to doing something. You know, if we want to take it to the next level of, you know, what Derek had suggested with regards to the, you know, the online thing, we can certainly do this. This is just to get us started for right now. You know, you certainly can look at this. We can, if you want to think about it some more, I completely understand you. If you want to take it, you know, and bring it up at the next meeting, we can certainly do that as well.
Okay, let's just table it.
Yeah, I have comments, but we can save it if we want to.
Yeah, I think we should just write down any of the comments.
So,
and
yeah,
look
take
at
the time to really look at it, you know? We can make some changes, revisions to it, certainly.
Yeah,
See, I really do like it.
yeah,
It's a starting point.
It's a starting
Yeah.
point. One of the things that I would suggest, I don't know if you caught on about this, is there really should be an initial rating period of what you expect of the employee, because you can't really rate them on something unless you told them what you're gonna expect from them.
So I think that's, you know, that can be part of this as well. We can, you know, maybe have a section here for initial rating, you know, initial review of what the duties and responsibilities are of the position.
And that's where you would typically get, well, what are your goals in the future? What do you plan on, you know, as part of the initial part? Because then they could say what your goals are and everything, so that when you actually give them the rating, and you look at the goals and stuff, you know, I go back to how I'm rated at work. We're given an initial rating of what's expected of us, and, you know, what the performance is expected. Then we're given a midpoint halfway through the year, and we're basically told how we're doing, how we're performing, and with our individual development plan, which we call an IDP, which is on here, a individual employee goals, basically the same thing. We look at the IDP for us and say, okay, what have you achieved in your IDP so far, as far as training, or where are you in the progress, and how can we help you? And then at the end of the year, it's all brought together, okay, what goals have you achieved in your plan? And overall, this is what your performance was for the year. And, you know, like the midpoint's important because it gives them a chance to correct any behavior before, instead of just slapping with, say, unsatisfactory. You know, so if you see somebody that's doing, well, improvements and expected you to know that they need to improve on things, you could say, hey, you need to really improve in these areas going forward for your final. So when you get evaluated for the year, it gives them the opportunity to correct that stuff, instead of just saying, hey, you just weren't satisfactory for this year, you're unsatisfactory in this area. Well, we didn't tell them what we expected of them, we didn't tell them how they were doing, we just rated them.
yeah.
You know, and it's kind of unfair to the employee.
Sure.
To do that. And it also doesn't give them a progress of where their goals are. You know, we're asking them, what are your goals? We're really not getting into the end of the year. So is it for the goals for the next year going forward? Or if you do it in the initial part, in the beginning of the year, we can at least track that. and help mentor them.
Mhm.
Because your job overall as a supervisor is to help mentor our employees to become better employees.
Right.
And do a better job. And if they just don't want to be a good employee and they don't want to be mentored and they don't want to do their part, then it's our job to tell them, hey, you're not getting with the program here, we need you to improve. And at the end, you're not paying attention, you didn't improve. And then you can give them a fair rating on that. I'm all for telling people what we expect of them, letting them know how they're doing, and then this is how you're done. So, but we're on a good basis for that, and I think even if we do like a position description, in their position descriptions say, you know, we go over the position description in the beginning of the year, we have something like that, and just say, hey, this is what's really expected of you, and, you know, what do you say for your goals? And you give them the goal sheet in the beginning of the year, and they fill out their goal sheet, you give them a week to fill it out, because putting somebody on the spot and saying, oh, let me see your goals.
Right.
You know, some people need to think about it.
Sure.
And it's gonna be different from a firefighter to a highway guy to sewer department person, you know. You know, they might wanna say, oh, I wanna improve my licensing, or I'm a firefighter, was it firefighter 1?
1, 2, yeah.
And I wanna get my EMT.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, they might wanna put that in there, and then that gives the chief the opportunity to say, okay, you're really interested in the EMT, and that's one of your goals, well, we're gonna work with you throughout the year to see if we can make that happen for you now, and get that goal done. So at the end of the year, when you get your final eval, and they achieve that goal, you could say, okay, this is what happened, or if they didn't achieve it, well, what happened? Well, funding wasn't available, classes weren't available, I was working too much overtime, or chief just, you know, he sticks me in the back of the truck and doesn't let me get out, you know, whatever it is. So we go through the whole year. An evaluation is throughout a year, not just at the end of the year, you know. It wouldn't be a fair assessment if we told you how you did for the whole year at the end of the year, and you basically really ticked me off the day before your evaluation, because then I forget about all the good things you've done.
Yeah.
You know?
So I have a question on page 9.
Okay.
So let's say I'm being evaluated.
Mhm.
So these goals that I would fill in are for the next evaluation period, is that correct?
Right.
So then page 2, now I'm in my next evaluation period,
Mhm.
I'm filling in this stuff for the
Yes.
goals that I'd set previously.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's, just wanted to
Yep.
clarify. Okay, that's good. So the first time I'm ever evaluated, page 2 is blank.
It's blank.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
The other thing that I noticed is on the, I would say, employee assessment part, where you're going from 1 for outstanding,
What page, I'm sorry, David?
I'd say 8, you're just looking at 8. So 1 for outstanding and 6 not applicable.
Okay, yeah, so this, 6 is, I mean, that box only has 6, because that may not be applicable, because that's.
Because it's not supervisor
Right,
position.
right.
Okay,
But
but
usually it's just 1 through 5.
but 1 through 5, I would actually reverse the numbers
This is what I was gonna say too.
and say 5 being an outstanding and
Okay.
1 being unsatisfactory.
Okay.
And at the end, there should be a total
Mm-hmm.
of for
Right.
overall performance, if you're rating. So if you turn around and say, okay, I've received, yeah, three outstandings, and those are 5s, and 2 successfuls, what's the total number? and how would that place you in an overall performance rating?
Mhm.
So at the end of the year, if somebody does come to us and says, hey, this employee is doing really well, we can look at the overall performance rating for that individual, and they say, well, we would like to get a step increase for this employee. We can look at that total overall
Mhm.
performance number, so when you're all tallied up, they're,
So instead of the low number, we can make it the high number.
Right now, it's
We
like
make
a
it
golf
higher.
score.
It's a low
Right.
number,
If
yeah.
you
The
want-
lower the better.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
we-
now the higher the better.
The higher the better,
Okay,
yeah,
sure.
'cause it
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah, and that total score for the end, so,
I like golf.
again, gives us a big picture.
Sure, we can change that.
And you can measure from period to period.
Well, it's also peer-to-peer too. So if you
Yeah.
get 3 people and you say, I wanna give them all performance, I wanna give them a step increase for the year. Okay, well, you get 2 guys that were rated as satisfactory overall, and then 1 guy that was outstanding overall. Don't you think the outstanding guy should get that? And we can rate it that way, because we're not gonna give blanket step increase just because somebody did good throughout the year. It's really meant for somebody that has been performing really well throughout the year, doing the extra, going the extra mile for it, and gets an overall performance rating of above their peers. We're absolutely gonna know the supervisor's not doing their job, a department head's doing their job, the proper job, if every single one of their people are outstanding, because that's just not reality. Some people just show up and do their job, some people just need improvement, and then there's those ones that really do a good job, so.
And plus, like, if I got evaluated, last year I got a 20 overall, and this year I get a 23,
You improved.
right? I measurably improved by 3 points, so that
Yeah.
might be a reason. Maybe I could ask for a raise, right? Look at how well I did.
Yeah, I've improved, I've done better, I've
Yeah.
gotten this, I've gotten that,
Mhm.
and you can market it, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good.
It's-
Mr. Chairman, I agree with what you guys just said. I just want to point out that before this goes into effect, it might be beneficial to have an expectation meeting with the people that are doing the evaluations, because I think, I can tell you right now, everyone's been left to their own device, whether they do them, don't do them, in one way or another, it's been all over the place. So I'm actually glad there's a formal process in place, but I'm also afraid that, you may have some people doing them, if there's not a standard expectation where, if someone's doing their job, that may be exceptional to that person, you know what I mean? And so without that understanding by all the department heads that know, if they're doing their job, that's satisfactory, it's not exceptional, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, it might be worth having that sit down with everyone before it starts and saying, this is your guide, so that you know what's going on, so that you don't run into that problem.
And we all know, not everybody's gonna be outstanding. Every employee thinks they're outstanding and they deserve it, and they do work hard, and that's not diminishing what they do. But there's certain people that do extra, they do more, they're above and beyond what everybody else is doing, and they stand out.
And I agree, and I think it would give us, as department heads, a better introduction to the employee and saying, hey, listen, this is how it's gonna go going forward, and I want you to understand right off the bat that the ratings are for this, you know what I mean? So, I don't want you to think that because you didn't get an exceptional rating, doesn't mean you're not doing your job, you know what I'm saying? That way we can explain to them how the process is taking place and what the expectation is from the personnel board.
The other thing is, I would say, on the reverse, because evaluations work very well to reward the ones that are doing really well, but you also have those ones that aren't doing what they need to be doing. And if the supervisor's taking time to rate them and saying, unsatisfactory, if you're unsatisfactory with your employee, then that employee probably should be doing, I know with us, if we get an unsatisfactory, we're put into a program where now it's basically mandated, you need to improve this. You're put on notice, that your conduct's not up to par to where it should be. And if you don't perform by a certain amount of time, we're gonna have to let you go.
We could do like a corrective action plan.
And that, yeah, so
So they know what they need to do.
Yeah.
you need to fix this stuff, because not all the time you're sitting there, have the right time to write somebody up and counsel them, because discipline is progressive most of the time. There are certain cases where you might need to go straight to a removal of the employee. But a lot of time, it can be dealt with through corrective action, and a performance evaluation kind of gives that overall rating of, you know, how you're doing. But if you're doing to that point, and it's very hard, I know with us, if you're getting an unsatisfactory, you are really bad, and something, you probably have a long line of disciplinary actions already in your record, and things are being dealt with. But there should be some sort of corrective action plan saying, hey, you need to improve this, you're going down the wrong path, so.
And I would imagine, to the chief's comment, we will have a rollout plan. Once a form is approved,
Yeah.
we'll have a rollout plan with, you know, the chair people of the boards and committees and the department heads on how to handle this form, once it's approved.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, good. So far, so good.
So we could
Good
just
ideas.
table this to the next meeting,
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
table it.
till the 26th?
Yeah. You good with that, Dirk?
Okay, well,
Your thoughts? We've been doing a lot of talking, but.
Yeah, I know, I've been doing a lot of thinking. Just suggestions are, keep it as simple as possible. Even when I look at this, I will fail, just by looking at it, how complex it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
And also think about the outcome. What are you getting through this? Or is the person gonna have to read through all the comments to get, you know, something in concrete about the evaluation? Also, if, right now it says draft, and it's a 2 form right now, so one goes to the employee, the other one goes to the person in charge of this employee, correct?
So we'd go in the personnel file.
Who's gonna, this one the employee fills in,
Right.
the first. This one, who fills it in? The supervisor.
So so it would be signed by, you know, the supervisor or reviewer, whether it's a board or a board chair.
So let's say you are my supervisor,
Mhm.
and this is already a final.
Mhm.
What's gonna happen with this document?
So the entire, we would actually we would take a copy, we'd keep the original in the personnel file, and we'd give a copy to the employees.
So I'm the employee and I get this package.
Yes.
And I have to fill it in.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel very confused filling this out. So.
Well,
We'd
just
have
for
to,
the
we'd have
goals,
to
yeah.
give tutorials,
Mhm.
and again, it's train the trainer type deal. We train the supervisors sit down with their employees and write, you know, this is what you need to be doing.
The only thing I'm trying to avoid is right now it looks very complex and time consuming, so I don't wanna.
Well,
Well, it's gonna take some time.
Yeah.
We're working on it, and it's a draft, and it needs some improvements, and
And then, after I fill all this in, I give it back to you, and then we discuss it together, or?
Yeah, that would be part
yeah,
of the
you sit down with
evaluation.
your
You
employees.
sit down.
I'm putting the example that I'm an employee and he's my supervisor, so he gives me the package, I fill the whole thing in, and I give it back to him, and then what happens?
Then you'd have a sit-down with your supervisor.
We talk about it. you
Well,
go through-
actually, the supervisor
Supervisor.
would go fill in their part.
Okay, so there's a two-part, that's what I'm saying,
So the employee's gonna do their own goals and their own evaluation.
okay?
Then, and maybe at the same time, the supervisor's going through and doing like a rating system.
Yes, you're talking with the,
5,
you're
4,
talking with the
3,
employee.
3,
Yeah,
5.
writing comments, making comments, engaging the employee too, and asking them questions about these particular things to try to understand how they feel as well. So it's a two-way street.
Okay, so then we did everything, and this you archive it
Well, no, it would go in their personnel file.
on the file, goes in the file.
Mm-hmm.
And then, when is the clock triggers again, you said?
You could do another 6 months.
In 6 months.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be in charge of that?
Same people.
Whoever's who's here.
So let's say I'm the supervisor for the secretary of the planning board, correct? Who's gonna remind me, hey, you gotta do this again?
Well, we do it as a calendar thing. We set it up and all departments do it at the same time.
Mhm.
So you say, so if you're going from calendar, January 1st to January 30th, you sit down with your employee, give your expectations, have them fill out the goals and stuff. 6 months through, so we're in June. So June 1st to June 30th, you talk about how you've been performing and what you've done and where you are with your goals. At the end of the year, say December 1st to December 31st is your final evaluation. I'm just using those months as an example. You might want to stagger them and do, instead of a calendar year, do fiscal
Fiscal
years.
year, yeah.
Because if you do a fiscal year, typically that's how evaluations are being done. It's not interfering with holidays and other things like that, so.
The problem with that is you have to get the budget in sooner, so you need to do an offset fiscal year
Well, then,
from
you're
budget.
you're gonna have your supervisors in the office anyways, sitting down, doing these. No matter when you put it in the year,
Yep.
it's gonna be inconvenient, because summertime, you get summer vacations, and,
So
you know,
you do it at
you're always gonna
the
have.
start of the year, July 1 to January, and then from January to June. So you'll encompass some of that budget season, just by default.
Would, at the 6th month, are you gonna use the same form, or would you have a,
You could use the same form, yeah.
okay,
Just a different color pen,
right.
not always black.
Well, you could use your black pen in the initial, your green pen, well, your blue pen in your midpoint, and at the end of the year, it's straight up red pen,
All over,
red pen.
yeah.
Okay, let's just keep it as simple as possible.
Okay, we'll use red pen all the time. That'll be simple.
I know, I'm glad you're not evaluating me.
All right, so we got,
So we're tabling
we're
that until
tabling
the
this to the
26th.
26th.
Yeah.
So far, I've got quite a bit on the 26th, okay?
All right. All right, warrants and bills.
All right, I make a motion to pay the following warrants. Number 66 payroll, $51,631.47. Number 67 vendor, $227,000, $227,206.27.
Second,
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously.
Make a motion to pay the following bills. Modern Pest Services for the Town Hall, $92. Warren Water District, $159.67. C2MA Adams 2 LLC, $1,685.73. Stericycle Inc., $114.60. Crystal Rock, $26.45. Comcast, $143.35.
Second,
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Okay.
Motion to accept the minutes from the November 28 tax and liquor license meeting.
Second,
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Okay. Then Town Administrator report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a couple things to report on this week. Obviously, today we had the final presentation from Tyler Technologies Munis in town. We had our finance team along with our planning and building secretary there to observe the different modulars and functions that are offered by this company. It is our hope now and it is our goal to use the Community Compact grant that we were successful in applying for in the fall to go towards looking at one of these systems. I've gotten some preliminary numbers from some of the drafts of the costs of each of these units. I have to get some new numbers for QDS, the first presentation, because I think some of those numbers expired as of December 31st. So with that, looking at the numbers, I'd like to circle back around with all the departments involved to try to get their ideas and gauge their thoughts on each of the programs that was presented, and then plan a course of action as to whether or not we need to issue a RFP or not, depending on the cost and is involved. So if it's less than 50,000 for the installation and setup, then we can then we wouldn't have to issue an RFP. If it's greater than that, then we would potentially have to do an issue an RFP. So we'll have to look at that. But now that we've got the bigger picture, the full picture of these companies, it's our goal to move in that direction to move this process forward. I know we're on a timeline, tight budget for our tax collector because I know that her software is going to be expiring the end of the fiscal year. So it's our goal to get moving towards that, to get that up and running. And also today, we also had a program over the last couple days, and I want to thank Karen for getting the people in there, the departments in there scheduled for getting meetings with Colonial Life. So it's an extra little benefit that we add for payroll deduction for our employees, that they can get full-time employees have the option of purchasing life insurance, accidental, and some different programs that they offer. So we were able to get the people, our full-time employees, in front of them to have that benefit offered. And again, it's going to be payroll deducted, and they're going to have an opportunity, because we are a new client, to waive some of the requirements for for processing life insurance. So they would waive some of the medical requirements, up to the first 100,000. So it's exciting. It's a nice benefit, and I know that from speaking with the gentleman that was here the last 2 days, there seemed to be a pretty good level of interest from employees, purchasing and taking advantage of the program. So that's an added benefit. I certainly did. You can certainly take an advantage of it for either yourself or your spouse to purchase that type of protection. So that was very good. We have the Board of Assessors met today. I met with them briefly. They've been reviewing some of the candidates for the position of assistant assessor. They've selected 5 that they would like to interview. We've already scheduled 2 of the interviews for next Thursday. One person that I had called already backed out of the position, and so then there's 2 more that I had left messages for that I'm waiting to hear back from. But the interviews are tentatively set up for next Thursday, starting. So it's pretty exciting there. I've also been working with the Board of Health on their interviews for the administrative assistant position to the Board of Health. We have a second interview scheduled. The chairman of that board wanted to have a second interview of one of the individuals. We're going to be having that tomorrow. So we're hoping that the board can then get together and have a meeting next week, and maybe a decision can be made relatively soon on that position to get those offices back up and running. We had, as one of the last meetings, when we contacted all of the senior work-off abatement program people. We had one senior that didn't have a specific location to work. So I had offered, to the assessors, I said, I know that the office has a lot of activity the last couple weeks, so with tax and abatements coming, could you use somebody to staff the office just, on a temporary basis, so that if the public needs to come in and have a question or a concern, or if the phones need to be answered, that at least this person can be there, physically be there, the doors can be open and take messages for the board, and that this person will be in touch with the board members to get a response back to them. So they've agreed that they will take this person starting next week for a couple hours on Monday or Wednesday and Thursday, I believe they're going to do it, for a couple hours. We're gonna get those hours pinned down so that we can get that out onto the website. We'll ask Karen to post that onto the website.
Bruce already did.
Okay, so that the public knows that there's gonna be somebody there, so if somebody needs to come into town hall to write, make a concern or a message, we have somebody there that's taking them, that may not be proficient in writing an email to a board member. We're gonna take it, we're gonna have the office open for a few hours in the meantime until the position is filled. So that's critically important, that we'll have that there. Like I indicated when Chief Millette was up, unfortunately, we did have a resignation of a full-time police officer. I'm gonna be working with Jerry on trying to get that posted and get that up in line for another candidate, for another round of candidates to apply for that. That's critically important. Based on the resignation, I think it was more along the lines geared towards the distance of travel. I think this person lives closer to where they're going to be serving. So I think that was a significant factor. I don't think it was, all, just about our department or where we are. I think that played a significant role, the distance in terms of travel. I think that from a brief discussion that I had with the gentleman today, I think that was playing, some of the role there. So with that, coupled with, we are working on 3 RFPs right now. We have the RFP for the EDA, we have the RFP for the feasibility study, and we have a potential RFP for the modulars as well. So what I didn't also report previously, but a couple weeks ago, both Chief Lavoie and Chief Millette and myself, we got up into the his car, Chief Lavoie's car, and we took a ride out to Littleton, and we looked at one of the modulars, okay? And we looked at a company, we tried to gain some knowledge and some, and to try to understand how these modulars work, to understand the costs associated with it, to understand the hookup, the capabilities of these things. We toured them, we looked at them, so now we have a clear understanding of how we have to align this RFP. I have also been working with town council, because there's a specific form for modulars on how we have to do the procurement side of this thing. So we'll have an RFP that you guys can look at and review if you want to move forward with that. That's totally up to your determination. But we'll have some options planned out for you in the near future. Obviously, this week, it's been budget week, right? So all the budgets have been due today by noon. We've gotten a majority of all of the budgets in. We are in the process of setting up some budget discussions and budget meetings. I know Karen has also been helping me. Thank you very much, Karen, for getting the budget meetings set up so that I can meet with departments. Those are critically important so that we can prepare for FinCom and we can have a seamless transition when we come down to the selectmen in front of you guys for the budget presentation as well. So it'll be It will be very seamless. I hope to mirror what we did, something along the lines of, when we had the special, to mirror it very seamless, and to have this process to be very seamless. This process obviously is much larger than the special because of the complexities of the budgets, but it's a process, okay? We're starting, I've also asked departments to do goals. Okay, it's the first time that, they have ever really looked at setting some goals for their departments. So, there's some departments that are afraid of talking about goals, other departments are more freely about goals. So it's a step in that direction of trying to set goals for departments. So we've asked for that, we've gotten some feedback on it, and that's some of the discussion that we'll have also during our budget meetings with department heads and boards and committees. What are your goals? How can we help you get to that goal? Are we budgeting properly? Are we over budgeting are we over budgeting? There was a concern, and rightfully so, we've had 2 years of huge surpluses in free cash. Why is that? To really analyze that. This software, this software that we have the potential of getting, will help us generate reports to understand, to be more, have a greater level of transparency of how accounts are being handled, how money's being spent. It's very difficult. The system that the town has is old. It's antiquated, it's old. So it's tough to see the bigger picture of things. So you gotta get, 5 different reports to understand the balance sheet, to understand all of the funds, to understand all of these different things. You gotta cross-reference, green bar paper that's totally out of date, and to try to understand all of the departments. It's tough. It's not easy. So we're hopeful that we will get this software soon, and that we'll have the greater level of transparency there, so that we can understand our budgets, because it's critically important to understand how the money's being spent. Because if we don't know how the money's being spent, how can we budget appropriately? So we're basically taking it from the ground level and building it up as best we can. We've also worked this week, I know CMRPC and Chris have been helpful with getting in Weston and Sampson, with getting this bidding project out. That is the actual draft plans for School and Prospect Street in front of you. Those are also the bidding documents. We anticipate that those bids will be coming back in the next coming up weeks. We're hoping that because the project is being bid together, that we can get some better pricing. The pricing has come down a little bit on some of the piping, so it may be better off than what has been anticipated when we were talking about this project about 3 or 4 months ago. So we're hopeful on that. He did also wanted me to announce that there's going to be some series of CDBG for the town, some CDBG programming to talk about upcoming CDBG Community Development Block Grant Program for the town, in anticipation of a meeting on the 26th. So that will also have to be added to the meeting on the 26th. There's going to be CDAC will have a meeting sometime in February. There will be a series of some public hearings as well. He had a proposed date of February 16th for a public hearing. I simply had asked him to work with Karen on setting up the public hearings, moving forward for this particular section of the CDBG stuff, because there's some stuff that needs to be required to be posted in the Ware River News. So he's got the directive. We're going to get these meetings moving forward, so that we can continue to find out what other projects for CDBG and development that we can do. We've taken care of some streetlights that have been out. I know that Jim McKeon, who had left, he had just signaled to me on another streetlight, and then obviously the one on Bridge in 67 there, we're going to take care of that as well. But I'm really impressed with this Pine Ridge Technologies. I mean, it's just an email goes out, they're right on it, and I get a response back from this guy Mo. I don't know the guy, but he's really nice. He's really responsive. If he doesn't respond back to me, he's calling me. He's telling me that the light's done. He's sending me a picture of the light's done. So I've been, knock on wood, I've been really impressed with what has been going on with Pine Ridge for the streetlights and the responsiveness. So
night and day over Tanco, huh?
Yeah. No pun intended, right?
The lights are working, right?
Yeah.
There's
So-
also one on Reed Street, but
Reed Street?
I'll get you the address for
Okay.
it, or the
So-
street number.
I think that it's really been positive for that aspect of it. For looking at where we're going with the budget season, there's a lot of stuff that we have to look at in terms of all of the budgets and trying to analyze them all and trying to get them into a good document. So we're going to be working on that the next couple months, to get you and to stay in line with our budget calendar as well. So, it's been pretty busy first couple weeks of the year to report on. And we're hopeful that we can also get an economic development committee established. Get some people involved, bring some of the business community together, to tie into this economic development committee. So that's a goal, a personal goal that I have, because I want to see that happen. I want to see economic development happen. So I want to work on bringing some people together, and putting all differences aside, and let's work on getting some businesses here in town, and all work to a common goal.
Very good, very good.
Great.
With the, Chris Dunphy submitted a draft press release.
I haven't had a chance to review it yet, no.
We were going through it, and Rich is gonna make changes and
Okay,
fix some things
All
on
right.
it. And then he'll submit it back to us.
okay,
There's just
Submit it to me.
sentence flow and spelling errors and
okay.
stuff
I
like
haven't
that, so.
had a chance to look at
Chris
it.
did a good job, but, yeah. We'll review it,
Okay.
right?
And I also want to give you an update on the keyless as well, okay? Brian from Fire Integration is gonna be coming back out to do some, he's asked, obviously has to do the crash bar by the gym door, and he's gonna do some modifications in terms of some of the doors access right here. But that slamming of that door, it may need an adjustment for the door closure with itself. The door may close too quick. It's not something that he he might have done. It's just the door needs to maybe have an adjustment. I'm gonna work to talk with Jim tomorrow to see if maybe he knows how to switch to make the door close a little bit slower instead of having it close so quickly. That's what's making that banging noise.
Oh, okay. It's like like when you have that thing on your storm door.
Right.
And you can adjust.
Right, it's the closure it's
Closer.
closing too
Tension.
quickly.
Yeah.
Tension.
So I'm gonna see if we can have that adjusted, and if we can slow it down a little bit, and I think it'll stop that clanging, because I did talk to him about that as well.
Okay.
And he's gonna set up some additional training for some of the software as well, as we just get it rolling out. I know Karen's been working on getting cards issued, taking pictures, getting the data in there. That's critical. Making sure the cards work is critical. We're not set to go live as of yet, but it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yes, every employee is required to have their picture.
Okay.
Don't look at me, I don't have a problem.
If they want an ID badge,
Yeah.
They wanna get into the building after hours, they have to have a picture.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole
Because
point of
it's their ID also, and it allows a police officer to identify, if they have to respond here, who's authorized to be in the building, and match up with that picture. So, all right?
Question.
Yes, sir.
Two-factor authentication, where are we with?
So I've signed the requisition. They've ordered them.
Okay.
So as soon as they come in, I gave them the, you know, the quantity amount that we had talked about, and I signed the requisition. They're on, as soon as we get them, they'll be delivered.
So then what, Northeast IT?
So
gives us a
Northeast,
switch?
yeah, they'll come out and they'll help us, walk us through the program to get everybody on board with it. I asked them to do a tutorial process in this, and they have obliged that they said that they would. So as soon as we get them all, then we'll do it.
Okay.
There has been some, on talking about that, I did send out another email this week, notifying all departments and committees and boards, hey, look, there are some, phishing emails that have been going on and scam emails that have been going on. Some of them may be tests, some of them may be real.
Yeah, I was wondering that too.
So,
They used mine this time.
so,
They did.
we have to take
That was a
everything.
submission. It wasn't an email, an email directly, it was a submission. So somebody typed it.
It was through the website.
Yeah, somebody typed it.
Yeah.
But I also got an email directly from David too.
Oh,
I
did you?
did too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
directly
Oh,
from
okay.
you.
yeah,
Could you please fill this out? I'm in a meeting, I can't do it right now.
yeah,
Oh, and click on something?
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Oh.
So.
Did I click
Oh,
on?
they being crafty.
No.
So we don't know if they're,
I can
they
do it.
could be training exercises, they could be real. So we, take the precaution, please, be cognizant of that. Don't click on anything that looks suspicious. Participate in the training, right? There's a phishing training that is going out there to all the email account holders. Participate in it. When you participate in it, there's a certificate that says that you participated. Give it to Karen, we put it in the personnel file. It's simple as that.
That should be an evaluation point.
Mhm.
I'm gonna write it down.
Mhm.
If you're doing an evaluation and that employee hasn't done those trainings.
Have you
they-
completed your online training?
They should get dinged for that, so any kind of
Sure,
trainings.
sure. Sponsored by our IT provider.
Well,
Yeah,
either that or your ethic, your,
Mhm.
all that.
yeah,
They just updated the ethics.
Oh, no.
Mm.
Mr. Chairman, on that certificate, I did that one the other day, but it doesn't print out who
It just gives you,
It just gives a generic thing
Yeah,
that
Yeah.
says.
so I just print your name on
just
top
write
of
your
it.
name on
Yeah,
the
well,
top
and
of it.
that's what I did, but I mean, is that really, anybody can print that out? You know?
Northeast IT knows who's,
Oh, okay.
like,
I'm
they
only
know-
bringing it up
they
because
There's a
of
report.
Yeah.
They send a report.
Okay, that's fine, I just wanted to make sure that was in
They
place,
know,
'cause
like,
there's nothing on it that says who actually did
Yeah.
the.
There's a
Yeah,
report.
don't worry
On
about that.
purpose, I'm not gonna do it, and let's see if they report me.
Oh, they do?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
You get
interesting
flagged.
because
Okay.
the town clerk has her last name and then has the record office. So she got 3. And she goes, Karen. And I said, you have to do them all.
Well,
No.
No, I was teasing her.
yeah.
All right. Anything else, sir?
nope, that'll be the conclusion.
Okay.
Oh, and next week, we have, I've obviously, we've talked
MMA?
about it, that, I'll be at the MMA conference, to discuss, initiatives that are coming up for municipalities across the Commonwealth and talk to vendors, for projects.
Well, we're
You're
all
going
going
to
at.
Yeah.
I'm going. Are you going?
Oh, I was going to that.
And you're going too?
Yeah?
Who's gonna
Oh,
be
maybe
here to
we
run
can
the
see
shop? Oh, Derek.
Oh, Derek's in charge.
All right.
I'll take care, don't worry.
All right.
Before we move
You're
on,
all in trouble now.
before we move on, can we just touch base a little bit on the minutes from November 28th? There's a typo in my name.
There is. I'm sorry. I'll fix that.
I really
Anything
like
else?
Rich, but,
Oh, no, I adopted you.
Okay.
And Joyce and I, we filed the paper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Welcome to the family.
But I,
We
Now,
expected
do you
you
get
for dinner
support?
tonight.
Do you get
didn't
support
show
from
up.
his dad now for it?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Can I adopt you too? If your dad's gonna support it,
yeah, but I'm older than you two guys.
that doesn't mean anything.
Mr. Chairman, someone, I think it's Kerry, has had their hand up.
Yeah,
for-
Carrie, we do see your hand, so I'm not sure if that was up for the evaluations or.
Oh,
Do you wanna take her question now or wait for comments?
You'll go to comments and concerns for
All
that
right,
one.
Carrie, hang on for a few more minutes.
Right, okay, so you all done, sir?
Yes, thank you.
All right, do you have any new business?
I do not.
No, sir.
New business? No? No? Okay. Any old business?
I do not.
No?
Nope.
The only thing I would suggest is for old business is if we're doing employee IDs also with that system, we don't need to print them up on the access cards. So if somebody wanted an employee ID,
Correct,
you just print them up on the regular card stock instead of
Right.
using an access card stock.
Right.
Oh,
You guys
because
good with
only
that?
department heads or something would get the,
Yeah.
Only certain people only people that need access to the building. But if, say, somebody from another department wanted an ID card,
I actually did one for the fire department chaplain.
okay. So they can have that.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna touch base with you on that for if we had members that wanted, because some of them do,
Yeah.
we've issued them in the past, we made them ourselves, but now that the town actually has a card maker, there was a process in place that we paid for the blank.
Yeah, no,
you know,
I have
and-
lots of blanks,
Yeah, I
so,
can get everybody up here to have an official one done for the
Yep.
town. Okay.
We can do that. And again, only certain people, you just let us know who needs access to the building. I don't think you really,
yeah.
It's
he-
probably just me that, you know, comes in after hours, everyone else comes in during normal business
Yeah.
hours.
and then if they
Yeah.
need to get in the building in case of a fire, the Knox box.
Yeah, I've already touched base with Jim and Karen, and they're gonna take care of that for us.
Yeah, just make sure one's in there,
Absolutely.
fire department use
We've
only.
already, we made sure it fit.
Okay.
Yeah, just made it.
All right, and then the ID card badge holder.
Yeah, as soon as I get them.
Okay, but they're ordered and they're coming.
They're
So
ordered,
if people
they
wants them with the lanyard, they're ordered and they're gonna be coming. Okay, all right. So no other old business? No? Okay, correspondence. Do we have any correspondence?
Just those emails. that we
Just your
got.
stomach?
Yeah, I guess so. There's a comment there.
We did get correspondence from Mr. Condrat. And he's wishing that he be considered if a position opens up with the Board of Parks and Recreation, if he can be considered for a position with them. So we have that there. Give that to you so you can put it on file.
Yeah, Parks has said that there is a position that they needed appointed, but she said she had gotten the letter and I hadn't gotten it.
Okay. Right.
So, the 26th, I'll put that on the agenda.
Okay, and just, we get that right there. All right. Any other correspondence? Rich?
No.
Derek? No?
Nothing.
No? Nothing, Karen?
Nope. Oh, don't forget.
I know. And nothing, Jim?
No, no, sir.
Okay. Comments and concerns. Do you have any comments and concerns?
I do not.
Sir?
Nope.
Okay. I have no comments and concerns. Now,
Give it to Carrie.
Carrie, do you
Carrie?
have a comment or concern?
Patiently waiting.
Are you guys just trying to keep your ratings up, like keeping people hanging on to the end of the meeting? Is that what you're trying to do?
Absolutely.
It shows better statistically how many more people we have on Zoom for a while.
There you go, yeah, keep that point. It was about the employee, universal employee, evaluation. I just thought it might be a good idea to maybe have a meeting with the, personnel board and the department heads who are gonna actually be doing the evaluations, along with Jim. Just have everybody in for a meeting rather than have like the meeting deciding and then some other department head. The personnel board get together with the department heads on this, I think.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, we're good with it. And are you talking about to make recommendations or before implementation of how to do it?
Well, just to hash out everything. I mean, just to hash out everything. I'm gonna say I like you guys' ideas and recommendations. I think your comments were all really good. And I just think, it's good to involve the people who are gonna be, again, doing the evaluations in the process. of formulating the evaluation.
Yep.
So it sounds like before implementation, right?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Before.
Yep.
So if you have ideas, definitely get them to Jim. If you have questions or ideas or anything, so.
Well, we had the department head meeting. I didn't hear any of the comments from that here, so that's why I thought it might be good to have everybody sit down together. Because that department head meeting was a while ago. You know, sometimes things slip your mind or, you know, whatever, but I just think it'd be good to have everybody sit down, who's involved in the evaluation process to, formulate the evaluation process, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, we could do that. We'll look at a date when we could do that and go over it more. I think we should fine tune it a little more and then schedule something with all the department heads. So we have a good working,
A working document.
a working document that I think we'd all be comfortable with, that we can present to, you know, all the department heads and get their perspective on it also, because you guys are the ones that are gonna actually be evaluating these employees. So,
Right.
Yep.
Okay, that's all. I don't need to hang around anymore. You've got my 3.5
You sure?
hours tonight. See what I mean?
you don't wanna wait for adjourn?
I'm gonna wait for adjourn, but I'm just gonna do it silently. I'm like.
All right, thank you,
Have a great
Carrie.
night, have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
You too,
Take
bye-bye.
care.
This is for Derek. Are we doing a new remote system?
Yes, do you have your,
On 26th.
do you have your planning board email available over there?
My planning board email. I do.
So just scroll down on the left side.
On the left.
Right there.
You got put in spam.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for the chat over there. Good.
Oh, the chat would be here, right? For Gmail?
Yeah, try go
Oh, right
chat
here.
over there. No, go back.
Oh.
What if they don't have a
Click
Gmail
meet.
account?
Right there on your left.
Me, oh,
Okay. So now, click on new meeting. Create, a new meeting for later. Copy that. Just write it, send it to Karen. That's it. What they want.
So, well, what if they don't have a Google account? Can they still get in?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what we could do is, we could, have run both parallel next time,
okay.
but that's about it.
To
So we're
Google
doing
and-
both Zoom and Google?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that will.
Yeah, we can figure that out later on, because I'm not even gonna waste brain cells on that tonight.
You keep doing what you have, I click on the other one, and I
Okay.
put the other
Oh.
one in.
Okay.
So I'll bring my computer, we'll run both, and
Well, we're all
Or
really
vice
getting
versa.
technical in here now.
maybe vice versa, because then you're gonna have the old on the new one, so we can test it. But it works fine.
All right.
So if anybody catch up that's how you do meetings all the time. Just go there, click, send that link, and you have a meeting. And
Did
then,
you just delete it? No.
No, I got rid of that goofy thing that.
No.
and there's no time restrictions. And it works the same as Zoom.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. You're up.
Motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
Second,
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. We are adjourned.